everyone, welcome back to the Keep Watching podcast, where we decide what to watch so you don't have to. I'm James,
And I'm Sarah.
and today we're going to be talking about Agents of Mystery, episodes 1 and 2. Sarah. Oh, and 3. Don't forget about 3. Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah, there any X electric waves in your neighborhood recently? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I will say that there is a Quality Monster X song called X Phenomenon that I was upset that this show didn't use because it would have been perfect.
What's the song about? Is it also about like what's the
I don't know. Actually, you know what? I know why they didn't use it. It's actually one of their Japanese songs, and it's probably about how it's a flexi love song like most of their songs are. So just they're
a lot
so
of the
great.
songs on these Korean shows are like English songs too.
That's true.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Agents of Mystery. This is gonna be a podcast. We haven't done like a I guess is this a reality show? I guess it is. No, it's like it's like right on
It's a
the
variety
fence.
show is probably
A variety show?
a variety show, I guess. I don't know.
Well, it's a variety show need to do multiple things, or is it just like I don't know what to categorize this show, so I'm gonna call it a variety show?
I think the latter is at least how I'm going for.
Okay. Wow.
It's not scripted. Well, for 6 people on it, I guess it's not scripted. But
What it reminds, so basically, like this show is just like the most elaborate escape room ever.
Oh yes,
But like, it's also kind of like if people listen to it way back in the beginning of the start of this podcast, we covered a show called The Quest on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
It's like
I
kind
forgot
of
about
like
The Quest.
somewhere in between that, where it's like The Quest was like kids that were on a reality show, but they were part of like a story with like these like adult actors, but they would still do like challenges. It was like,
Yes.
it's like some weird hybrid of that. Like where
Yeah.
and then we've kind of discovered that there's like kind of a bunch of shows that are like Agents of Mystery now. Like there's one called Busted. There's a show called Busted on Netflix.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a handful of shows that are similar to these. Like they're people like in a story, but they're not part of the scripted content.
Yeah. It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to talk about, Agents of Mystery today. For comments from the listeners, last time we watched His Man 2, it's been a while. I have moved to a new house.
And then you also went on vacation.
And then I went on vacation. And then so I got my stuff set up. It's a little not like I had it before, and I need to adjust it and stuff, but I think it's going to be good enough to record today. Tina on YouTube wants us to continue with His Man 2. So, people enjoyed the His Man 2 content.
Yeah.
If we're not going to do His Man 2, Tina also said maybe Sarah could just recap the season for me, because I did not commit to watching all of it, but you said you would. Have you finished? I
haven't finished yet, but I'm like 7 episodes in, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm making my way through.
The other thing that happened though is like almost immediately after we recorded that podcast, I forget why, but we were like curious enough that we were looking something up, and we kind of just spoiled ourselves for like one of the main parts of the end of His Man 2.
Yeah, I had to find a image for the cover art for the podcast, and then it's like, here is the couple that came away from His Man 2, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Now I know the end.
It was kind of an exciting, even though I didn't get to watch the whole season, it was like an exciting kind of spoiler, because basically I was totally wrong about like probably several takes I had in the podcast for the first 2 episodes. I ended up not being true at all by the end of the season.
Accurate, at least as far as I've gotten so far.
I trusted some people at their word too much, I think.
Yeah, minds can change, happens all the time.
So I don't know, after you're done watching it, Sarah, if you want to recap it to me in however long that takes, and however you want that to be, we could do a podcast on that. But
haven't been taking notes, but I could figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I kind of already know I think what is the big reveal or the big story of that show, but
but you won't know how it gets
if you want
there.
to,
I gotta say,
like
even so far, it's a little spicy. It's been
Okay.
spicy so far.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear maybe like the twists or the
The different like
production.
mechanics of the show. Yeah.
Yeah, like the production decisions throughout the
Mm-hmm.
show. If there's anything interesting compared to the other ones we've watched, that would be interesting to me. Because I liked some of the things they did
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in His Man 2 compared to the other ones we've watched. And then also His Man 3 has started since we last did our last podcast. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're gonna jump into His Man 3, but it has started if people are interested. We got other suggestions from people as well as what to watch. We're kind of in this like weird zone where we don't know exactly what we want to watch yet, or going forward for the next few episodes. But we'll talk more about that at the end of the podcast.
At the end, yeah.
Okay, we might go off the board from what people have suggested, but we'll see.
We're all over the place on this show sometimes.
Yeah. We used to really be all over the place, and then we started watching Korean dating shows. And I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll mix it up a little bit more. This show is a mix up. I mean, it's still Korean, but it's like
it's different.
This is a very unique TV show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about before we jump into this, Sarah? Any big updates on your end?
Do I have big updates? You said it like you know something I don't, and I can't.
No, I don't. I just I feel like sometimes if I shared more details about myself, I feel like I don't know. Maybe you might want to as well.
Okay, I'll say this.
I just moved. I guess not.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching some K-dramas, and I will say Dr. Slump is good. Business Proposal is bad. There we go.
There you go. We haven't done personal recommendations in a while. I can't.
Yeah, Business Proposal makes me so mad, and I'm not going to start complaining about it, because if I do, that's the entire episode of the podcast.
Did you still watch all of it, even though it made you mad?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Because at first I wasn't sure it was going to make me mad, and then it made me mad, and then I thought it was going to redeem itself, and it just doubled down on all the shit that made me upset. So
nice. Okay.
No, forget that shit. Dr. Slump is great.
All right. We got some recommendations, and what's the opposite of recommendation?
Some warnings. Just stay away from Business Proposal.
Okay.
It's bad ideas about relationships and power dynamics and bosses and shit. No good.
Oh, okay. All right. Agents of Mystery.
Yes.
Here's the Netflix blurb on Agents of Mystery. In an adrenaline-fueled detective game show, 6 celebs plunge into mysterious missions where they unravel inexplicable incidents using wit and teamwork. This sounds like my kind of TV show.
Yes,
it sounds like something I would want to do. Sarah, you have done escape rooms, correct?
Yes, I have. Some of them successful, some of them not successful.
I have never done them, even though I think I would enjoy them. I always have this fear that, like, for whatever reason, like, any escape room could, like, be, like, they could just have scary stuff in it.
Oh, yeah. Well, some of them are specifically scary ones. Yeah. And some of them are not.
Yeah, I guess I could just, like, read reviews and be like, okay, this one's not trying to fuck with me. And then just do those. Yeah. But I'm just, like, I'm always just, like, I don't want to be scared. I just want to do the puzzles. Like, I just want to do the puzzles, man. Like,
yeah.
Leave me alone. I don't need all this, like, extra trying to make me have, like, emotion and stuff. But this show is very much like they're trying to get you into the moment.
Oh yeah,
and it's absolutely. There's a lot of interacting with actors, even though it's kind of an escape room. Essentially, is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Agents of Mystery came out in June of this year. So
yes,
a few weeks ago,
pretty recently,
recording, and it has the host that I like, the best host from Transit Love.
Yes,
is one of the celebs. Who is a comedian? I guess maybe we should have known that, but that's gonna be his job title on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I know his name now, Lee Yoon-jin.
There we go.
Yoon-jin. I now know his name forever. Yeah, and like I said, it's like an escape room, but it reminds me of The Quest also.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very unique. Any other setup that the show needs, Sarah, before we talk about it?
No, I think we can just dive in, talk about who's on it, and
give me, how would you describe the set of Agents of Mystery. Because here's what I'll say. I think we've referenced this show before. The other show it reminds me of is Crime Scene.
Yes,
which we watched together, not for the podcast. But that show, it's like the contestants. It's also 6 contestants, but they're each given an identity. It's almost like a murder mystery kind of party.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then
they're supposed to figure out which one of them did the murder.
Yeah, so they'll be like investigating a murder that happened in an apartment, and there'll be this like production
tape line out of like different rooms.
It's definitely way lower budget.
This is
this show,
an immersive set.
Yeah, but in that show, it's like each contestant is role playing a character, and like one of them is the murderer. So it's like you're trying to solve, which I can't tell. Like I don't know if that's more fun. I feel like that might be more fun from a viewer perspective, like trying to figure out who the murderer is, than this show, which is like you can kind of guess the connections between all the puzzles before they do, but you're not.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to like really dig in and properly solve puzzles for some of them. You know,
yeah,
you can't inspect all the bits.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So how would you describe this set of Agents of Mystery?
Yeah,
it's impressive.
Yeah, it's high budget. It's immersive. It's a spooky abandoned factory.
Yeah.
That they end up in.
Because the it reminds me of like the Devil's Plan and how elaborate that living space and how it connected to the game room, and the game room connected to like the prison or whatever that was called.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a secret room off of the prison that went down to like the depths of hell, and you had to it was like you had to like face the the devil or something in a duel. It was like very like all these rooms were like connected in these very but it's some studio somewhere, so they just built some like crazy connection of rooms, and that's what this is. And it also feels like it has like the same type of intro as the Devil's Plan or the Genius, if you watch that show, in a way that it feels like it has a very similar production crew, or I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if it has the same producers or what it is.
Stylistically similar, yeah.
Yeah, but it's that level of like elaborateness to these sets. Yeah. All right, I guess we just start talking about it. I guess we do the who are our contestants, our celebs in this.
Yes, we start off with Carrie, who is she's an actress, but also a member of Girls' Day, which is a K-pop group that is not officially disbanded, but has definitely not put out any music in a while.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they give like their occupation though for all these 6 celebs, but the first 2 things are just like random titles.
Yeah, they call her an escape room connoisseur and an unlucky ace.
I don't quite
know what that means.
It took me so many times reading unlucky ace before I realized it did not say unlucky face.
Oh no, that would be a terrible title.
I read it like 3 times, and I was like, unlucky face, like what does that mean? Like am I and then I reread it like a 4th time. I was like, oh, it says ace. That makes more sense. Jeez. But I wrote like down after her accolades that they listed. I was like, oh, this literally sounds like a perfect cast for this TV show. Like you basically you want actors to a degree, right? In the show, because they have to know how to like live in the moment for this to be good. Like if you cast like 6 random people to do this, like they might just they're
not gonna have the good reactions.
Not participate in a way that's like makes it fun. Yeah, but the actors kind of know. Or these celebs, like they know how to be on TV, and I feel like you really need that.
Yeah, it definitely helps the immersive qualities.
Yeah. Okay, who else we got?
Well, next we've got Yeonjin, who is, they call him a selective frontliner, an involuntary leader, and comedian.
Yes, this is the host from Transit Love. He does a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of, I feel like, just like keeping everybody moving forward. In the game in a way, like I kind of did feel like he was kind of like a leader. He doesn't necessarily come up with like the big solves that allow them to progress, but he's like we need to do this or something, and he just I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him. I like him even more now that I've watched the first mystery. There's 6 episodes of the show, but it's like 2 mysteries, so we're watching like the first 3 episodes, which is the first mystery, which is the followers of the evil one.
Oh, right. Yes.
And then the other mystery is I don't know the name of it, but it's like
It's
something
like
on
a
a
submarine
and
something.
there might be aliens. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I only saw the preview. So, all right, who's our third person?
John Park, puzzle master, pro competition survivor, singer.
Yeah, what is pro competition survivor? What did you
Well,
look up this?
apparently he was a semi-finalist on the 9th season of American Idol. He's also been on some Korean competition singing shows too. So,
Oh, he was on like American Idol.
yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
he's a Korean American. So,
Yeah, I mean his name's John, so I figured
well, yeah.
I figured something was going on. But okay, he was on him. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Now, do you think so? John is going to solve some of the bigger puzzle moments in the TV show. So do you think they call
Mhm.
like is this spoiling that he's gonna solve the puzzles because they called him the puzzle master, or is this like
Oh,
you know what? Like I feel like these
I
titles that they give
guess
them are like based on how they performed on the
that's
show,
true.
and
Yeah,
not so
yeah.
much like if this was like if this was the devil's plan, like their titles
Mhm.
would be like kind of related to their expectations. I feel like on the show, like
Ah, yeah.
if
Mhm.
somebody was like a chess champion, they would call them some sort of like strategist or something. But
Yeah.
it doesn't necessarily reflect that they're going to be like an amazing strategist on the TV show. Whereas I feel like now looking back after watching this first mystery, it's like, okay, John's the puzzle master, and yes, he solved most of the puzzles. Like I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah. That
it's like a
does make sense. Yeah.
retroactive nickname based on his performance.
Yeah.
Because even like the involuntary leader, like how would they know he's going to be the involuntary leader unless
Yeah. True.
that's what's going to happen on the show? So it's like a
Exactly.
little weird, yeah. Some
Mhm.
of these titles, like they're like kind of spoilery, but it doesn't really matter
Yeah. Yeah. It's
because
just a silly fun time
it's not
anyway.
like because it's a co-op, like everything's a co-op mission, so it's
Yeah.
not like
Exactly.
we're not rooting for individuals
Mhm.
to like win as individuals. So I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't
They're
really
just all
matter.
trying
Yeah,
to survive and figure out the mystery and escape. Yeah.
yeah. I kind of like if they kind of just win. I haven't watched the second mystery yet. If they kind of just like beat both mysteries, I don't. It kind of takes away. Like there was like a situation in this where like they could theoretically like complete the mission, but some of them die.
Yeah.
And I feel like I
Yeah.
would have liked it if like some of them died because I'd be like, okay, there actually are potential like failure scenarios, which
Yeah.
it didn't. I couldn't tell like was there a losing scenario throughout this because like they're gonna win. We're gonna talk about the whole mystery and they're gonna basically escape.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, weirdly, there's no like wrap up. It's just like
Yeah. That was
they
weird.
they just like complete the mission and escape right at the end, and then there's no like let's just talk about how crazy that shit was. Like they don't. It just
Right.
ended at episode 3. I'm hoping in
Well, there's
episode
not even
4.
like their boss voice or whatever being like, "Good job, you did it."
Yeah,
Like there's no wrap up at all.
I hope in episode 4 they do that in the beginning,
Yeah.
which they should be able to because it's like it should fill the time spot of introducing
Actually,
them.
I well, I watched it a little bit and it just looked like they were coming in fresh for a new mystery and it wasn't. But I didn't
Really?
watch too
Oh
far
yeah.
into it. So maybe
Okay.
when they before they actually properly introduce everything, they'll give them a little pep
Talk
talk
about
about
it.
last time
Okay.
or something.
It's
I don't know. Just
it'll be so weird to me if they don't talk about what they just experienced. Like this shit was this shit is wild.
yeah.
To not talk about it and just be like, all right, I guess we completed it. Yeah, nothing. Just another day working for XIN. If East,
Well, yeah.
yeah, just
There you
move on to
go.
the next mission. We don't have to talk about that.
Exactly.
All right, 3 more people. Who do we got next?
Next we have E. Unji, sympathetic guardian, Fox Mulder wannabe, comedian.
Yeah, that was I actually she mentioned Mulder. Like she was like, I feel like I'm Special Agent Mulder. And I was like, I think that's an X-Files reference. And I looked it up
Yes,
and I was
yes,
like,
it
it was.
is.
Yes. Yeah. That's an old reference, right? At this point.
Oh,
Did they
yeah,
bring that
yeah.
show back actually?
Oh, I don't.
X-Files.
Maybe.
It's from 1993.
Yeah, but it ran for a million years.
Yeah. For some reason I thought this show had like a resurgence, like they brought back something.
I don't know. Well, Wikipedia does say the years
Oh
are
yeah.
1993 to present, so.
Oh, it's still going. Yeah. Okay. So they stopped in like 2001 with X Files, and then 2016. There's been 2 seasons. They 2016 and 2018. They had new seasons of X-Files.
Crazy.
Yeah. I never I definitely remember seeing that show as a kid, but I didn't like watch it episode to episode.
Yeah, I would watch some, and then sometimes it would be too scary.
Is that like yeah. Oh, is Special Agent Mulder though? Like, is that really the best reference we can make for like a modern day like paranormal activity like reference?
I don't know that I can pull another like.
You'd have to like watch other shows that are like ghost hunting shows or something. But I guess
like ghost hunting shows though are bullshit.
but they're as real as X-Files.
But X-Files is like a piece of fiction that is trying to be at least in the beginning somewhat grounded, like these are real weird things that could happen in the world, where it's not like the show Supernatural, which is just immediately went off the rails into crazy stuff like immediately, like
okay.
I guess X-Files eventually completely went off the rails too, but I don't know. I don't know that I have a good.
Yeah,
maybe it is Supernatural.
I guess X-Files still is like the most go-to reference.
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess it's good. Maybe not that I watch enough. Maybe I'm just don't watch enough of these, or maybe it's so like maybe it's like so oversaturated now that there's a bunch of the shows that are like this, but they're not as big as X-Files.
I just feel like I
X-Files
name
is
it.
the only one. But there are shows like Ghost Hunters or like Unsolved Mysteries, or I don't know.
Yeah, but those are like reality shows. I'm trying to think of like a fictional show.
Oh, a fictional show. Yeah. I guess X-Files is the one.
Yeah, and then I think it would be Supernatural would be the other one.
X-Files is like it's like the what do they call those like it's like a procedural, right? But it's just
week to week it's like a different mystery, but there's an overarching plot, but it's a monster of the week sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Should we watch X-Files for the podcast?
I don't think so.
we can watch some 2016 X-Files and see what's going on.
I feel like we're just gonna we don't have enough context on it to fully appreciate it,
Well, I guess so.
I don't know.
That's probably true for a lot of things we watch, but okay.
That's fair.
All right. That's 4 people down. Who's the 5th person?
Next, we have Karina, who is the quickest and youngest, scares easily, and a singer. And I recognized her. She's an ESPA, which is a group that debuted, I think, like 3 years ago.
Okay.
It was very popular.
They call her Rena a lot, too. Not like... the show said Karina, but I feel like they were saying Rena a lot.
Yeah, but her name she goes by is Karina, for like...
okay.
I don't know, her stage name or whatever.
Gotcha. Okay. The youngest. There's always got to be the youngest. Somebody's always the youngest, and it's a point to be pointed out on these. Yeah, that is
a Korean culture thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who's number 6?
Korean, it's called the maknae. There you go. Fun Korean facts.
Wait, what's the maknae?
It's the youngest person is called the maknae.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like Agents of Mystery in Korean is the maknae. Okay, go ahead. What's the number 6 here?
Then we have Kim Do-hyun, overzealous, inquisitive actor.
Okay. Yeah, the first 2 like descriptors of them are definitely just like based on their performance of the show. Now that I'm thinking about it even more. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're coming in, right? They're just like they're entering some sort of like fancy jail cell, or like where the guards would sit if they were like guarding the jail cells. I don't really know what this set is.
It's like a bunker almost, I would think,
Okay. Like theoretically,
the headquarters is some deep underground secure,
Yeah. Like it's supposed to be some sort of like special secret agent layer, but I don't know why there's like prison bars. Like that's the part that I didn't really get. Why they're prison bars.
Yeah.
But okay. And yeah, they're all at a table. They're getting ready for the show.
Yeah,
and then a voice comes on the screen, just like Devil's Plan or Genius.
Yes.
All right, do you have what the voice said?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
We are an international organization called the X Investigation Network, or XIN for short. XIN investigates mysterious phenomenon that occur all over the globe and secretly solves such mysteries. We possess a device that can detect unique electric waves emitted from an unknown substance, which we call the X electric waves. This device allows us to find mysterious phenomena and pinpoint their locations. As agents of mystery, you will be deployed to locations emitting X electric waves to get to the bottom of these cases and complete missions assigned to you.
Wow, what a
And then
setup.
then they go into all the details of the mission.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a second. Yeah, well, I think we have some we're on different subtitles again because you said the same information, really? But in a totally different phrasing than the way I wrote it down.
Okay.
But yeah, wow, they really wanted to like make sure there was lore to this TV show.
Yes.
like we needed the name the X Investigation Network. Okay. They really copied the X-Files theme, right, with this X Investigation Network. Mm-hmm. So I guess, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they wanted somebody to mention the X-Files reference and the X electric waves.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then we get the rundown of the first mission. They say they investigate X waves all over the globe, but we're going to start in an area inside of Seoul, Korea.
Yes.
We're going to stay local right away. Yeah. So basically, yeah, this is the setup we get. There's like, is this what happens when you go to escape room? Like, is there somebody that explains the lore of the escape room? Is this a thing?
Yeah, there's usually a person that is your, like, the person that is watching you that you can get clues from. Like, when you get stuck, like in the beginning, they'll take you in and they'll be like, okay, you have to find the thing to kill the vampire or whatever, and give you a little bit of a lore and try to get you in the vibe of
so that's
what's happening.
This is. That's what this voice on the screen is doing. Okay, so there's like a factory on the outskirts of Seoul, right? And the owner
it's got a lot of X waves.
Yeah, there's a lot of X waves being emitted from this factory, and then also like the owner of the factory was arrested on suspect of kidnapping, but was later released for insufficient evidence. That the name of the owner of this factory is Ko Guite.
I never wrote it down.
Oh, you never wrote it down? No. Okay.
No, well, I just kept calling him cult leader throughout the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, his name is like Ko Guite, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but the way I look at Guite is it just is the word guilty. So throughout my entire notes, I called this guy Mr. Guilty.
I mean, accurate.
Yeah. I mean, the show didn't make it seem like there was going to be like a twist where this guy wasn't going to be the problem. And he ended up, he was the problem.
I mean, there was a little bit of a twist.
Oh, there was a twist, but like not in like that this guy was actually good or anything. He was bad, yeah. You know? So
he's just Guilty, bad in a different body. Yeah.
I think we can call him Mr. Guilty from here on out. Okay. It's fine. Well, he goes by another name that we'll find out later.
Yes.
Yeah, so the factory is closed down, but 3 more women have recently been gone missing.
Yes, but and they all have the same birthday.
Yeah, I noticed that right away before they even said it. I was like, is that the birthday or is that when they were abducted? But it was like June 6th, 2004.
I'm really disappointed they didn't do 2006. Like, obviously, there you go.
Yeah, what? That's actually so weird that they didn't do 2006.
I think maybe they just didn't want them to be 18, I guess. They wanted them to be a little older. I don't know.
They're 20 instead of 18. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't. That's the only excuse I can come up with.
It's like adult consent in Korea, 20. So like they didn't want us to think the actors playing these women were under 20 years old.
I have no clue.
Yeah, that actually is super weird that it wasn't. They didn't do 2006. Okay. Yeah, they kind of set it up, and we're just gonna they're just like, we assume that the whereabouts of the women are connected to the factory. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, well, they say that one of their phones they had a signal from was last seen near the factory.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yeah.
And so because they all have the same birthday, the cases must be connected, yada yada. Sure, it's fine.
Yeah, we're just supposed to. They're just like, yeah, go with the flow here. This is all connected. We guarantee it. They don't have to do too much, like maybe not taking the information for what it is. It's basically what it is. Yeah, and then the mission goals are just to investigate the factory and then determine if the women are alive and rescue them. This is the goal of the mystery.
I was a little surprised at this point that they were like, going dark enough where they're like, if they're still
If
alive,
they're
you
still
know?
alive. Yeah. I feel like maybe they couldn't tell them like the biggest thing they had to stop.
Yeah.
Because
they
like
were supposed
there's
to
way
uncover
more.
it, and yeah.
Ultimately, there's way more on the line than like the lives of these three women.
Yeah.
But I guess they don't know that, so they can't like tell them like, oh, your main goal is to do this. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're saving the lives of like the entire planet.
Yes.
More important than these three women potentially. All right. Then this part was weird, at least in my subtitles, where like they're given two-way radios and a camera, but then there was like phrasing where they were like, the two-way radios are only for emergencies. So I thought that was going to be like, I thought it was like if they wanted to tap out of the escape room experience, they were going to have to be like, I'm done. Like,
but no, it's just to communicate with each other.
Yeah, then they get in and they like test them, and I was like, they're only for emergencies. What are you doing? And then it's like, oh, they can talk to each other. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then the X, what is it? The X Investigation Network also has this technology where they can teleport people.
Mm-hmm. So there's a teleportation chamber, and I wrote AKA an elevator to take them to the factory set. But I guess it's not an elevator because it gets a little crazy in there. They were like,
well, it is an elevator, but yeah.
It might just be a box that they rolled them over to the proper set in.
Oh, that might have been what it is. Yeah, you're right.
Because they get into this thing, and they like they even have like a little confessional with the one guy. He's like, I thought we were just gonna get in the box, cut, and then like go to the other place and then start up there. But they like really moved us around, and it was shaking and stuff.
That's what I assumed it was going to be too. Like I thought it was going to be this kind of like half-produced show where like, okay, there's like the celebs don't know the script, but they're going to be like in constant communication with production, where it's like, okay, we're going to do this like visual effects, so come stand over here, and then whatever. I thought there was, but it seems like they basically get like 6 hours for this mission, and from the point that they get the mission details to the end, I feel like, I don't know. Maybe
they just threw them in it.
They might have manipulated the time. I don't know of like the clock that you're seeing, but it feel like they were like immersed in the experience as soon as like from the moment they go into the teleport chamber. But it was hard to tell like how much it was moving around, but they really spent effort. Like the teleport chamber starts like flashing lights and stuff, and then they put in a lot of effort to like have them do these confessionals after saying like how crazy the teleporter room was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell.
And like not in character as somebody in this universe, just like them being like, yeah, they really shook us around in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It still could be like a manipulation, but I don't know. But what got me though was like in the trailer or in like the intro of the show, they showed like flash forwards of a bunch of stuff, and it's from like both mysteries, I think. And I swear there's like a point in that where like they're in a room that is getting like turned over and they're like sliding to like the walls. In a way, like I don't know, maybe it's part of the second mystery because it doesn't come up here, but like I think they're going to be in some room at some point where like production has this like Hollywood style setup where they can like rotate the entire room while they're in it, so that they're like falling, like they can reverse gravity and stuff. Like I don't know. I have to watch the second one for that. But once I saw that, I was like, I guess I just believe that this teleporter is actually just crazy to be in.
Yeah. I love their excuse for the time limit, which is that the teleporter needs 5 hours to power up again, so they can't leave before 4 or 5 hours. And then, just after an hour, then it's just gone. It's just done.
Yeah, so it's like, it's on a timer where it can't come back without recharging for 5 hours, but then an hour after it recharges, it has to come back.
Yes.
So if you're not in the chamber when it comes back, you somehow, for whatever reason, get dematerialized
instead of just left behind at the Spooky Factory.
No, you're like
cease to exist.
Your existence is like tied to this chamber somehow, and if you don't go back, you dematerialize and you die. And then the X Investigation Network will disavow you and delete you from history. is what they said. Or something like that.
No open ends for XIN. They gotta clean everything up.
Yeah. Do you think if somebody had gotten like dematerialized in the first part, they like wouldn't have made the second mystery? Like they would have less people?
I feel like they manipulated the time enough to just be like, okay, yeah, it's fine. You got back. I don't think they were gonna risk it.
Okay.
Or at least the first episode going to the second, or the first mystery going to the second mystery. Maybe the second mystery will be more dangerous for them in that way. I don't know.
Okay, we'll see. All right. Yeah. So they get in this teleport chamber, and the next thing they know, the door opens and they're in a completely different room.
Yeah. Like in some creepy small rooms in an abandoned factory that clearly no one's ever had a bad time in. It's definitely not super gross in there at all.
Yeah. It also cuts to like the theme intro graphics, which is also very much like The Genius and The Devil Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I actually love these shows. Theme music, intro pack, graphics and stuff.
Yeah.
So I immediately, when I saw that, I was already kind of vibing with the show, but then I was like, oh yeah, this is one of my shows. Okay, yeah, we are in the factory presumably right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a creepy ass room with old tools and blood on the wall and like maggots and mud, and it's like pretty immersive. Gross. Yeah, it's like this like if this was an escape room that I wanted to do, or if I didn't want to do an escape room for the puzzles, and then I walk in and this was like what the room looked like, I'd be like, yeah, I didn't sign up for the right escape room. Like, there's definitely gonna be some creepy shit in this.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So they basically have access to like 3 different rooms to start out. Like, like, how do you want to talk about this, Sarah? Like, I guess we're just going through the puzzles, and
I guess
maybe like I kind of, some of these are like kind of tough. At least like I wouldn't get them right away. And I'm kind of curious, like, how long it took them for some of these things. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can talk about it from, like, being an escape room perspective.
Yeah. Like, this first set of rooms, I think would have been so hard from, like, an escape room perspective. Because, like, there is one thing to do in this room, and you just have to happen to find it to get out, right? Like, some of the stuff, like, there are, symbols on the wall that they have no way of translating based on what's in this room.
Yeah,
they have to take that to another room to figure out. So it's really just like, find the hole in the wall and put your hand in it. Like, it's the first set of rooms.
I mean, the hole in the wall like definitely looked like you need to put your hand in it. Like it looked correct. But yeah, so let's just set it like, so in this room there's like these, I guess we'll call them like hieroglyphics on the wall.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like in blood, so they're like some language we don't know. And then in the far room there's like these wooden planks like blocking a window, and they look out of it and they can see like these people in these like white KKK robes. Like, yeah,
I was gonna say that you can tell this was not made for an American audience based on the white pointy robes.
But yeah, basically like these people that look like they're in a cult. They're like walking around on like the ground floor of this factory.
Yeah, like the main big opening of the factory.
Yeah. So they like see these people walking by, and all the actors are good, and they're like, "Oh, quiet, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. There's people out there." Like, that's not something you get in an escape room experience, right?
Yeah, you do not typically have actors in it.
Yeah. Or like you look through, yeah, exactly. Like but can you, like, what would it be like for you? Like, I don't know. That shit would, like, once there was like other people in the experience, I would really probably get immersed in it and be like, okay, I'm actually creeped out by this entire situation.
Oh yeah, at this point I was like, because this room's full of like, I don't know, implements of torture and also like sledgehammers and shit, and I'm like,
I thought they were just like break the boards to get into the factory.
Yeah, but I was also like, this seems primed for like jump scares of like actors coming in after them or something, and I'm like, my instinct would be I'd have to pick up the sledgehammer, but that someone is going to accidentally get hurt. Like, it just like felt a little unsafe, but they're professionals, so it was fine. But
I'd be like, maybe I should use this emergency radio and just be like, you know what? I think I'm good. you know.
And that's when you find out it just goes to the other people in the room.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
does not get you out.
But I would definitely be like, yeah, we gotta beat this thing, guys. I want out of this.
I cannot do 6 hours of this. Let's go.
Stressful. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and then the last thing they find is like there's this obvious like tile missing in the wall at one point, and there's like a hole in it that looks like something needs to go in there. Except
and it's got bugs and mud
yeah,
in it.
It's got like actual maggots in it, and it's
like big
caked,
ones.
Yeah, it's caked in mud on like all sides.
And then there's like a secret button in there that you really have to root around in there to find.
Yeah, which takes them a while. Like they stick their hand in, right, and then they're like a little light comes on to kind of indicate that
you should be in here.
Like yeah, it indicates like okay, yeah. It was kind of nice. It was kind of smart that they put that light there because like if they didn't put the light, I feel like they would be like, I don't know, this didn't do anything, right? But eventually, you actually have to like dig your fingers into the mud to like find this switch that opens a secret door.
Yeah,
and like if they didn't do this, at least from what we watched, there was like no other way to progress.
Yeah, I'm sure at some point like production would have been like, in the creepy hole. You just got to do it, guys. Come on.
That's what I always wonder. I wonder that too. Like, how many points did they get stuck and need help to like progress, or they were like, "Let's try this thing," and then production was like, "Yeah, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're gonna break the the story if you try to do that." Because it's hard to imagine like how they could have I don't think they did such a good job of setting up this story that anybody that did it would do it in the way that it was shown to us. Like I feel like other ideas would come up that would totally break. Like my immediate first thought was like, oh, maybe they need to like pop the boards off that window to get into the factory.
Oh yeah, same.
And but like, there's no way that they were supposed to do that. Like that would totally have breaking the story.
Absolutely. And maybe that's why they put the actors out there to be like, oh, there's people out there, you don't want to get caught, to try to deter them from that.
Yeah, they at least like it. At least would have deterred, but like I still think like it would not have been crazy to think like, okay, that once they walk by, we might be able to like
time it right to like
move some of these boards and then sneak in. Like I feel like somebody would have that idea. So I feel like there had to be some level of like production is at least telling them, no, don't try to do that. Or if they're getting stuck and they're like on the right track, but they're not sure, they might just be like, oh no, you're doing the right thing, just keep going. Like I feel like stuff like that had to have happened. What do you think the smell of this room is? And like, is production trying to make this room smell bad?
Oh,
because it kind of looks like this mud looks like it's like shit. Like it's like they're sticking their hand in, like it looks like poop. But I don't think it's poop.
I don't think so either. I guess I just assumed it smells a little bit like somewhat fresh paint just because they just built this set. Is what I assume it would smell like.
Okay. Yeah.
Like I don't think they're purposely trying to make them feel uncomfortable smell-wise.
Yeah.
But that would be more immersive.
It would be very immersive if they did smells in this. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So Yunjin comes with the idea of sticking his hand in the hole, and he says, "It was my idea, so I'll do it." But with the pretense that with the pretense of like, if anybody else comes up with a crazy idea, whoever does it has to do it. I don't know why he like he stepped up to do his own idea, but he was like worried that he'd become the guy that does all the crazy shit.
Yeah. Well, I think also because he's like the oldest, right? So like therefore
is that
default,
what it is?
Like leader or default like has to be the person that does it, maybe.
Yeah. So he eventually gets his hand in this creepy hole and figures out that there's a switch deep in the mud at the end of this hole.
Takes a while, but they get there, yeah.
Yeah. And it just opens a hole in the wall and they move on to the next room. Next group of rooms, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a security room, like they've got CCTV cameras, like the monitors there so they can like see the missing women who are like laying on these, I don't know, platforms in some room somewhere.
Yeah. And they're like chained to these tables.
Yeah.
Who else stuck their hand in the hole? Was it Unji?
Yeah, I think it was Unji.
Yeah, Unji also, like, when they couldn't figure out if this was right or not, like in between Yunjin trying to stick his hand in the hole, Unji was just like, yeah, let me have a go. I feel like Unji's entire sleeve and coat was like caked in this poupee for the rest
Yeah,
of the
like
episode.
he was trying, like he took off his jacket on one side and was trying to preserve his clothes, and she's just like he's wearing all black and she's like wearing white, and she's like, fuck it, put my arm in. Like she's just going for it. It was great.
Yeah. It must not have smelled too bad, otherwise I think she would have been like, I need to change.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this new area, it has like, yeah, CCTV cameras, like some sort of guard layer. Some weird room with like a bunch of ingredients, like weird
like
ingredients.
Spooky witch ingredients.
Yeah, like potion making stuff. And then they eventually see another door that opens, which leads to this like room with a bunch of like confessional booths, is what I would describe them as.
Yes. I think it's labeled the prayer room, so that makes sense.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So yeah, and this is where they start finding a lot of little things.
Yeah, there's like a million filing cabinets and like things to go through. They find a big set of keys. Oh yeah, there's a poster with like the symbols that they saw elsewhere, but also Korean, so they can start to like figure out some connection.
I didn't pick up that there was like Korean under like the laws of this cult or whatever until later when they brought it up. At one point, they like in the subtitles they threw up on the screen like "Law of Molech," but I was like, I don't think the contestants found that phrase, or did like the subtitles just spoil it for us? I was actually kind of confused.
Well, I think it's because it had the subtitles on the poster in Korean, so I think they figured out that this big phrase at the top means that. I think.
Oh, okay.
The really tricky thing is that the like gibberish symbols are like the cipher is English letters, and so like that trips them up for so long.
Yeah, it took them a long time to realize that they had to like convert the characters to English characters. But from like the audience perspective, or maybe just from like an English speaking person perspective, like once they threw the word like Law of Molech on the screen, like I could look at the title of like the poster and it was like 3 characters space 2 characters space 5 characters. Yeah. So I was like, oh, so it must be like Law of Molech in English, like converting. So it was like very obvious to me, but at the same time I was like, I don't know where they got Law of Molech from. Like they never saw the English characters spelled out that said Law of Molech, but we did for the subtitles.
They were probably hoping that John, as the Korean American, would like make the connection, but like they.
Oh yeah, he did figure that out eventually.
He figured it out eventually, but like I think they were probably counting on him figuring that out earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
But instead, they were just like matching, like, oh well, this set of characters means this word. Okay, sure, but not able to figure out the individual characters in a word, you know?
Yeah, they were trying to somehow convert the hieroglyphics to Korean characters or Korean words. Yeah. And it just like wasn't really making any sense. But I was lost forever as to like why they were doing that. I was like, this is like clearly like a cipher between like random symbols and English characters, but it just took them.
They were just not provided with any English to like. Yeah, it wasn't their fault.
Like the subtitles kind of gave it away, I think, for us more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't actually see the English phrase Law of Molech. It was just in Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so they see the 3 women are on a table somewhere. They also get a floor plan of like how these rooms are connected that they've been in so far. And there's like a whole set of like janitor keys, like master keys that they find in a drawer. And then they also find, I think they find like the clothes of the girls that are in like the pic, like what they were wearing in like the mission
when they got
photos.
Kidnapped. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like in this like big, I don't even know what it, like some sort of closet or like cabinet closet that is in this CCTV room.
And then they also find like in a trash can like the burnt remnants of somebody's stuff, and they're able to find
here we go.
like a wallet of a journalist who I don't think they had any information about before. And then like this little lockbox, and they were like trying all the keys on this lockbox, but none of them worked.
There's also dog food randomly.
Yes,
like,
and they're
the
like,
dog food was so out of place.
Dog food.
And the dog food was so out of place. There's a bunch of like potion witch ingredients in this room, and then there's just like a bag of like
modern
modern day dog food. Yeah. That was like super weird. But yeah, so they put it together pretty fast. So they're like, this is probably like some journalist who was investigating the factory, but then they were like caught or something. So
yes,
they put that together pretty fast. And then in the prayer room, there's like on each confessional booth, there's more hieroglyphics. And I believe the hieroglyphics in like on each prayer room is like the exact same hieroglyphics that was like on the blood on the wall in the first.
Yeah.
I believe that it was like a direct match.
Yes.
But they still don't know what like the cipher is for that yet.
Right.
Only one of the confessional booths is locked and the rest are empty, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they like start to try to use the master keys on the locked.
But there's so many keys.
There's so many keys, yeah. So every time they need to open something, it's like they probably have the key to it, but it's like we have to check every single key. And as they're doing that, then they just hear the door to like another room connected to the prayer room like unlocking. And this shit,
and
like,
it'll just like,
the...
oh shit.
Yeah, like what would you do in this scenario? Like
exactly what they did. Run the fuck away and hide.
Yeah. I guess, right? Like I think from like they definitely like made a loud noise at that door and then gave them like enough time to hide though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like it doesn't really like a normal person like wouldn't take that long to get into the whatever door they were trying to get into. I think. Yeah, but this is like the really immersive part of this where like, oh, like we're not just in a room. Like I would have been freaking out about this the entire rest of the time, right? Like,
oh yeah.
We're not
it's
just
like somebody's gonna come at any moment. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not just like in a room and we're trying to solve a puzzle and we can kind of like take our time. It's like at any point there like might be an event where some random actor who's supposed to be like a super creepy like cultist might just it might just be their time to enter this room and that we're in this room with them. And then I don't even know what would happen to me if these actors catch us in the act. But like they get enough time to like run away and hide. And then this is also like a weird goofy production moment to me where like a lot of them choose to hide in like the closets where the girls' clothes were. But there's like not enough room, right? So like two of them, like Youngjin and Yairi, I think, have to like go back through like the whole like the secret door in the wall,
right?
Except they don't close it.
Because I don't know if they know that the button can close it or if they have time to close it or what, you know, like.
Yeah, but eventually like the actor who's like one of the cultists like comes in and like
she's like this door is open, better close it.
Yeah, he just like closes it and doesn't even look to see like if anybody was in the other side of the door. Right. It was like
and this would be the point where I would be on the other side of the door with the sledgehammer being like, okay bro, don't come in here.
Yeah, like this actor's about to die. I think Youngjin grabs the sledgehammer or something. But like there was like there's like some level of like, yeah, they didn't really hide perfectly, but they didn't have the actor discover them right in this moment. Yeah.
But he did discover that his keys were missing, so that's how he knew that he should be suspicious.
Yeah, that was the main thing the actor did. He like discovered his set of master keys was missing, and then he starts like freaking out and like checking all the cabinets and stuff. But he doesn't check the closets.
The closet type, yeah, the tall cabinets, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had like a house with like a secret wall door in it,
and it was open, I would freak
that
the
shit was
fuck
open.
out.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how one of my biggest fears is that someone is secretly living in my house. Not like this house, not like now, but I mean just like it could be a thing. Like,
okay, sure.
So if I had a
should I support you?
If I had any door open at any point when it shouldn't be, I would lose my absolute fucking shit immediately.
Yeah. But especially if it was a secret door that theoretically...
Especially if it's a secret door. Or a door that isn't open ever. Or, you know, just...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would be suspicious. And I would have the sledgehammer. It's, you know, it just doesn't end well.
Yeah. So what this actor does, I feel like this was totally improv, and the door doesn't work this way at all. Like there's like an old rotary phone on the like the CCTV side of of the trap door, or of the secret door, and he just like picks up the receiver of the on the phone and like puts it down, and that makes the door close. I feel like
well, there's got to be something on that side that opens it, right? So might as well be
I don't
that.
know.
I mean, it's not a great secret way to open your door.
I guess they do have to go all the way back to the beginning, right? So if they ever close that door, they would have to have a way to open it without sticking their hand in the wall.
Yeah.
So maybe that was intentional. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe he intentionally.
It was probably done on purpose so that way they could see it. But I don't know that anyone was watching him at the time, because Eugen ends up having to put his arm in the mud hole again.
Yeah, I don't think they saw. Yeah, it ends up like not hurting them because they just leave that trap door open the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and nobody
it felt like there was like an extra.
Again.
I feel like there was like an extra, like, if you were like a real spy, you would have like, they should have like all gone back to the original room and closed the hidden door, and then the guy would have never thought they were there, basically. So, but
except for the
there's
missing
like
keys.
some
the missing keys still put him
the
on.
Keys would have messed him up, but it would have made more sense, like, to me, that he didn't immediately like go check the secret door for his keys.
Yeah,
but he didn't really do a thorough sweep of his like guard station because the production or whatever told them they were in the closets, so they like don't look at the closets. That's where they're hiding. So there's like some leeway here where they're like giving them some leniency with how they choose to avoid the actors, at least. Yeah, okay. So eventually he leaves, but he like calls somebody on a walkie-talkie, right? This actor, and he's like,
yes,
be on the lookout for suspicious individuals on the premises or something, right?
Yes.
So now they know that the cultists know that somebody's there,
right?
So it adds some tension to everything they're doing. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. But then he just leaves.
Yeah, then he just leaves. He's like, he says to some guy like, "Hey, you got a backup spare of the master keys?" And they're like, "Yeah, I got you, bro." And then he leaves. He's like, all right. He leaves. But now they know, like, they have the master keys, I guess, is the usefulness of that information. I think it made it clear, like, okay, you should definitely carry these keys the rest of the time you're here, because they're the master keys for the whole. They're the entire janitor keys for the entire factory.
Exactly.
All right, and then they go back to the prayer room, right?
Yes, to back to unlocking that door.
Yeah, there's actually a staircase in the prayer room that leads up to another door, and they look up and they feel like they can see like the silhouettes of like the cultist robes like moving around in that room. That's Sarah. What?
That was also spooky.
I would be like, we should not be in this prayer room. Like, they could come down the stairs at any time. Like, what are we doing? Like, I'd be so stun locked to do anything, I feel like.
Yeah, I'd be like, fuck this door you're trying to unlock. Let's just leave. Like, the girls aren't in this door. Let's keep moving.
But yeah, I would kind of be like, yeah, we need to like keep hiding until we don't see these people at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
And maybe if we did that, then production would have like got them to move. And then we would like continue it. I don't know. Like, the production's probably working with your improv to some degree, right?
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Maybe that strategy also would have worked, and they would have made it seem smart if they had done that. Yeah, but then they open this prayer booth, right? And they all get scared.
And then end of episode.
And then that's the end of the episode. They all like jump in fear, and I think somebody takes a fall. Like, they trip over themselves and fall.
Yeah, it's Eugen. He just Youngjin. He just falls.
One
backwards.
of the women,
I think, loses his radio. Even like
the
whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. Incredible. This is what's happening. After episode 1, I was like, I don't know how this mystery is gonna end or what the goal of this show is, but this show's doing something different. Yeah, this show's doing something different for me. Let's go. Yeah. So what was inside this prayer booth, Sarah, as we start?
Is the dude in his underwear, chained up, barking like a dog, like fully committed to his role. And everybody's terrified, which is exactly the right way to feel about this.
I was actually like confused, like from the perspective of like, okay, is this man role playing as a dog, or is he supposed to be a man who thinks he's a dog?
Oh, I didn't think of it like, oh, we can't put an actual dog in there, so
Yeah,
let's have an actor pretend to be an angry. That would be a crazy. That would be
like
crazy.
I was like, it'd be pretty hard to like train a dog to do whatever you want it to do for this like setup, right?
Yeah.
Like the dog
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be able to like get cues from production and like be more fluid about whatever it does. So it's like maybe
Right.
this is just a guy pretending to be a dog, but but maybe they would have like he wouldn't have been like naked if he was doing that, right? Like they
Yeah, they
probably
would
would
have
have
had him
given
in like
like
a suit, like a dog suit or something.
yeah, which
Like,
still would have been super weird, but
oh, so creepy. Yes,
maybe would have
but
at least communicated like, oh, this is supposed to be a real dog, but it's a person in a suit.
but it's not that. It's supposed to be a
Yeah,
person
it's
who is
it's
a
supposed
dog.
to be a person who like a man who is like I guess thinks they're a dog or whatever is going to it's going to be, right? But I would have been like a little confused in the moment of like, I wonder how I'm supposed to interpret this.
But they like basically slam this door shut in his face and just lock it again, and they're like, nope.
Yep, we haven't started dealing with this until somebody's like, oh wait, the dog food in the other room, and I was like, oh my god. I would have been so freaked out. I would not have immediately been like, oh, to get the dog food, because I would have been like, is this a man or a dog?
It just would have been like, I don't want to go in this door again. Let's just leave it, guys. It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
Also, like, they like get the dog food and they like throw it in, throw it on top of this man, like,
Yes.
because he's a dog, right? But like, what was the? I couldn't tell. Like, was the dog food necessary to get through whatever? Like,
I think so. But then like Youngjin went above and beyond
yeah,
committing
Youngjin
to
goes
like
all out.
oh, calm down and like pet him, and like he ends up legit giving this grown ass man belly rubs, and the guy just like, he has to act like he's a dog that loves
Oh my
belly
God.
rubs, and it's such a weird scene.
Actually, incredible that this happened.
It was amazing.
Yeah. So I guess the idea was like the actor would be like super aggressive until they got the dog food.
Yeah. Because he had a key around his neck that they had to get.
Yeah, the whole goal was like, okay, it's like it's information that this like weird thing is where there's a guy who thinks it's their dog, but then also there's a key around this dog's neck, this man dog's neck. And that was like the main thing they had to get from this. And I guess like he just like wouldn't have let them get the key unless they got the dog food. But it was still weird where like I felt like they got the dog food and he like started eating it, but then he was still like in like going back and forth between being aggressive and eating the food. But then Youngjin like started like petting him and rubbing his belly, and then he totally chilled out.
I guess like if you're portraying a dog, you can't just immediately calm down. I guess they need to step it down a little bit. So, I mean, he did a good job of pretending to be a dog.
Yeah.
Look at from that.
It just felt like the solution was more that you needed to rub his belly than it was the dog food.
You need to distract him with food so you can get in close for the belly rubs, I think is
okay.
It's all coming together.
Yeah. There was only one path to success here and they figured it out. For sure. Yeah, so they get the key, and I think they identify
realize that
his
this
face.
is he is the investigator, the journalist whose wallet they
Yes.
found earlier, and this key opens the little box that they found with his wallet.
They also like tattooed his face with some of the hieroglyphics, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I think they managed to link it up to one of the laws, which is like traders are animals or something.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so like we find out later that like the man has had his soul swapped with a dog, basically is what they think happened. Because there is some soul swapping that happens later in this.
That is what they hypothesize, which I was
we
like,
never find the dog with the man's soul in it, and they
That's what I was
never
wondering.
rescue this man. They leave him here, and he is a dog man forever, I guess.
Yeah, but he wasn't part of the mission.
Yeah, they were real strict about the mission.
Yeah.
Save these 3 women, which means we have to save the world, but not this man.
It's one of those things. If it was like a story, like an adventure style game where you're just like choosing paths,
Mm-hmm.
like a video game, like maybe you would get like bonus points if you like.
Oh yeah, you'd get the true
that,
good ending if you could also
yeah,
save the dog man.
Yeah. So I guess maybe there was one. Yeah, maybe they failed in that regard. Like they did not save the journalist.
I just really wish, like, even if you're not going to do a follow up, like an ending, like moment, the last scene should have just been the sad dog man still in his sad dog man location. You know, just like look, they left him behind.
Wait. So did they? There's like a whole like slew of like spells at some point in this.
Mm-hmm.
And like they find the soul swapping spell, and it's like a real thing. It's not like it's not like a this whole setup. It's not like a mystery where there's paranormal activity, but you can explain it. It's like this is like real paranormal activity.
Yes. There's like real magic and shit, and this is a real cult that knows what the fuck they're doing. They're not crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, they're crazy, but they're like they're not bullshitting. It's like
yeah. They have a bad plan, but they can follow through and accomplish this plan.
They're like, hell is a real thing, and they're right about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they have the power to bring it to Earth, and they want to for reasons.
Yeah, but was there a way that they could have was there a way that production provided them that they could have gotten the soul of this man back into his body?
I do not remember the wording of the
I think they would have had to find the dog.
I think they would have had to find the dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, there is a second person they also don't save, which is we'll get to that later. They're they're very focused on just the 3 women they have to save.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe there was a better ending though.
Yeah. There's definitely at least 2 people they could have saved if they were better at that.
Who's the second person?
Well, when they find the like cult leader's dead body.
Oh, you mean
there's
the
a ghost
like, soul that's in the wrong body?
Yeah. They could have saved him.
Oh yeah, well,
put him back where he belonged, maybe. You know.
I don't know if they could have done that and saved the planet, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to talk it through when we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So there's also a notebook. I think we get. At some point, they picked up a notebook from the journalist. I don't know where this actually came from. Was it from?
I think the notebook was in the metal box that they unlocked.
Oh, they unlocked it with the key from his neck. Okay.
And in the notebook, there is an English phrase like "Moloch is returning" or whatever. Which finally, this is where John figures out. Oh, it's an English cipher.
Later,
and that's where they finally figure it out.
It's later when they actually like.
Oh yeah, I guess
we have to do the cipher now because it's like we need to do the cipher to progress. Is when they finally like sit down and do it. But they also get the phrase "the Church of Molech," which also lined up with like the English. I don't know. There was multiple times where like the subtitles like really made it obvious as an English, as a main English speaker that like it's clearly an English cipher even prior to like this notebook. I don't know. It was kind of weird. But there's other information in this notebook from the journalist. Apparently the 3 girls didn't know each other. That ends up not mattering at all, but I guess maybe interesting information. The Mr. Guilty is also called the Messenger. That's his like cult name.
Yes, that's his cult title.
Yeah. It says Mr. Guilty is currently sick and is only seen on Sundays, according to this journalist. I would have loved to see like how this journalist, like the journalist, like joined the cult, but he like really wasn't in it. Like, how did he get this information?
Yeah, he was like undercover.
Yeah, but then he knows that the Mr. Guilty's like private office is on the 2nd floor, which I feel like you only would have known that if you were like in the leadership circle of the cult.
Well, he does like there's a SD card also in this thing which has footage that they find a way to view later of like a ritual happening. Was it up there?
No.
No, it was in another room. That's right.
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I have questions about how this journalist got all this information, but
he's just like, a very good investigative journalist / dogman.
Yeah, because there are like 100 like basic cultists, right, that are like followers, but then there's like Mr. Guilty is like the main guy, and then he has like 7 leader roles that are within like the inner circle of So I don't know if this journalist had to work his way up through the cult rankings to get to the inner circle to get this information, and then somehow he got exposed. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm sure like lower level cultists sort of talk about, ooh, what's upstairs? It's probably the office of the leader or whatever, you know.
Maybe they just know.
There's got to be like rumors amongst
maybe some of the inner leaders like leaked information to the lower cultists, and I guess.
Or it might not even be a secret that his office is upstairs. It's just, his office is upstairs. You're not allowed to go there.
Yeah, okay. All right. And then we find out there's an assembly every day at 1 p.m. Maybe that's what they were watching earlier, I guess. If you're trying to like really do the lore of the timeline of this whole situation. That's what they saw through the window before. But then there's a special ritual on November 14th at 3 p.m., which I guess is today.
Yeah.
So like 2 hours from the time they saw the assembly in whatever.
When they first got there,
There's a special ritual today. They never said like, oh, that's today's date.
Yeah.
Was that when they filmed it? Did they film it on November 4th? of 2023?
Maybe
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Yeah, and was the camera card in the box also, like with the notebook? Where did the camera card come from? Okay, so they have some sort of camera card that it's going to end up having a video on it, but it like goes into a laptop.
Yeah, it wasn't like incompatible with the
camera that they brought. They were given a camera just for like taking pictures for clues, so they didn't have to like go back and forth all the time. I guess. But that didn't work with the card. They needed to find the laptop, which they get to later. All right, it's time to check out the second floor.
Yes.
There's nowhere to go. I guess that was the door that guy came through. Was that locked? I guess it must have been.
I think so. Yeah.
And but they never even showed them like trying the master keys on that door, or maybe a no keyhole on that side. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe, or maybe they were just too spooked. I don't know.
Like that, like if they looked at the map they got, like it said something about like where that door went to, but they never showed them trying to go out that door. They were just like, I guess we need to go to the second floor, which I guess that they had a clue about the office, I guess, was on the second floor. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, but like even later when they're like trying to get back and forth between places, they still go up through the second floor to go back down. Yeah, they never get out this way.
They never use that other door. Do you think they were supposed to use that other door? I was actually thinking about that because it was like, it felt very like they had to go way out of their way to backtrack because they were going like up to the second floor to then go back down to the first floor.
That's why it feels like maybe they were told to just not use this door, you know?
Okay, maybe. Or they just did it and production was like, it's fine. we can work with this. All right. So they get up to the second floor. The cultists that were in there are no longer there, and the door's unlocked, so they're good. They're going through. Well, how'd you describe this room, Sarah?
This is the room with it's got just like a big round table in it, right?
Yeah, it's like a big round table with like a red tablecloth, and there's like 8 chairs around it.
It's like a cultist meeting room, basically.
To me, it felt like an old person's like man cave.
Okay, fair. Yeah. The decor was old.
But there's a laptop on this table.
Convenient.
So they can use the card, except they need the password.
Oh no.
And it's one of those, I think I guess this is a Windows thing. I don't know, maybe it's on other things, but it's like they tried like some random password that they came up with that was like, if this is right, it's like, that would be crazy.
Yeah. And then it showed them a hint.
Yeah, as soon as you try one password, there's like a hint on the screen. But the hint, they got it to be in like the hieroglyphics of.
Yes. So now they're like, fuck, we actually have to figure out what this shit means. We need
this password. So that's when they finally sit down. It takes a little while, but eventually John is like, oh, we should be doing
English.
Yeah. And it ended up just being like the birthday of the kidnapped sacrifices. They called them sacrifices in the hint. So they found out they were sacrifices, and they knew their birthdays, so that they get in. And what do they see in this video, Sarah?
Is like some secret footage of a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, so we know the journalist was like in the room with the ritual because he like videotaped it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, now we're figuring it out, this journalist.
And then it's a bunch of cultists like chanting something and doing some sort of ritual.
Yeah, there's like a crazy like some sort of like witchcraft circle on the ground, and some of the ingredients,
a bunch of symbols and stuff.
Yeah, the ingredients are like on some of the symbols, the ingredients that were in jars in that one room are on this, and then there's like two bodies just lying on the ground.
Yeah.
And then they're doing the chant, and then eventually like the lights go out, and then it kind of looks like they're being set on fire, but it's just like, I don't know if that's what they were going for, or if it's just supposed to be like red lighting is covering them.
Yeah. I think at this point they thought like they were sacrificing people or something. Like they did not recognize these bodies as who they are at the time, I think.
I was confused about this too. I think they knew what they were doing. They had to have known what they were doing, right? Because I'm pretty sure this is the body swap ritual.
Yeah, this is when
they have to mimic
they
this
swapped,
later.
Yeah, the cult leader's body with some other body, or their souls, like, so that way he wouldn't die and would be able to like inhabit this new guy and keep being a cult leader.
There's just like a weird moment where, like, I don't know, maybe this is like the first time that this cult ever did the body swap thing. And like they're doing the chant, and it's like, the fire's going or whatever, and then it feels like something happens, and the lights go back to normal, and then a bunch of the cultists seem to be like freaking out, like something went wrong. I don't know, it was kind of weird. And then they all run over to like check on one of the bodies, which I guess is like, okay, it's over. I guess they're just checking on Mr. Guilty's new body. I guess.
Or maybe his old body died in the process or something, because we do shortly after this find out that old body is dead. I don't know.
Oh, so like, okay, so so the old Mr. Guilty body actually died. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's what went wrong. Okay, I'm down with that. That's the lore. That's what happened.
Okay.
Because it was just a little weird how these actors in this video behaved, as if like something weird happened that they weren't expecting, even though theoretically, like, there are these cultists that have done this before. I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay,
I don't know. Maybe it was first time magic. Who knows?
I like that he died. That can make sense with what we're about to find out later. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was expecting the bodies to like disappear. Like I was kind of just like thrown off by whatever I was expecting to happen, like didn't happen. And then the actors like confused me, but I guess it doesn't make sense actually. Okay. It should have been. This should, like, if I knew, like, having seen it all now, like I know like the degree of which this will be scary. I do think this would be fun to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I would have been like I think I would have like been not as helpful as I would have been if this like wasn't a scary escape room, because I would be like, I'd be worrying about other
on edge too much.
I'd be on edge too much. But now, having like seen how extreme it gets, I would have been like, oh no, this shit would have been fun to do. Like there's some actual like not so obvious things, and like enough weirdness that like throws you off. At least this is how I felt. So I actually felt it was pretty good. It wasn't just like linear, where it was like, okay, we found this key, we open another thing, we get another key, we open another thing. It was you had to pay attention.
Yeah.
All right. So now that they figured out the key, the cipher basically. So now they can start. They decide like, okay, we can translate all the laws. Oh no, the laws of Malek on the poster, those were in Korean anyway, so they didn't have to translate.
Yeah, they didn't have to translate that, right?
Okay, but they start reading them to us for the first time. Did you write down some of these laws of Malek? I don't think they read all of them.
I did not write down any of them.
Okay, they're like standard cult laws, right?
Yeah.
Personal property does not exist. All material possessions belong to the messenger. All believers must cut ties with families and their jobs.
Standard cult stuff, yeah.
Those who believe in Malek will receive salvation when the gates of hell open. There you go. That's
the why. Salvation. Yep.
I don't even know what is salvation. If somebody like came up to me and was like, "You will receive salvation," I'll be like, "I don't know what you mean by that."
Yeah, like, be specific, please.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Okay.
Because it seems like if you worship the guy who's bringing hell to earth, you're just gonna hang out in hell, right? Like, that's his domain. It doesn't seem like you get to go to a better place.
Yeah, I don't know.
Where he's just like, I'm just gonna open the door and let some of the hell out, so that way hell is actually nice, and then you guys can come in here. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't get it. Okay. And then we find out there's 4 hours remaining. So I guess theoretically they've been in here for 2 hours at this point.
Yes.
Okay. And then Mr. Guilty's office is connected to this room. and they have the master keys.
Yeah, so they can
This
unlock
actually
that
takes
door
them a
eventually.
while. This actually takes a while. Like John like couldn't get it open, and then Youngjin just comes over and was like, this is like figures out that they were just like trying the wrong keys. I don't know. It was weird, but
I think some people were like trying every single key, and he's like, "How
Just
about the
look-
key that looks fancy? Like it looks like this lock. Let's use that one."
Yeah. All right. How do you want to describe Mr. Guilty's office?
It's got a box of creepy ass centipedes on it. Is like the
Like big
big
ones.
sticking point for me. Yeah, like fucking Jumanji sized centipedes.
Jumanji say.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Just a whole box of them, and not like a nice enclosure. Just like they're all piled on top of each other, just being centipedes.
They're in like a glass box though. They can't get out.
Yeah, but
unless you open it.
They're big and gross, and I hate it. I just really don't like.
I think I would have been worried about a lot more things than those centipedes, but I feel you.
That was my primary concern at this point.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I would have been way more concerned about actors coming into this room. I would have been like...
No. The moment you introduce creepy ass bugs, and we've already had a part where somebody had to stick their hand in a hole that had some maggots in it, I'm like,
yeah,
I don't like this room. I'm gonna stay outside and wait. Thank you.
Yeah. What kind of group of people would you have to be in, Sarah, for you to be the person that sticks their hand in the hole in the wall?
I mean, clearly they would be people who hated me. Is the only way that would happen.
No, but like, yeah. Like, is there a group of 6 people where like, okay, you're the bravest person in this group of 6 people?
If that is true, we all die here. There is no progressing.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. I have a line, and it is well before sticking my hand in box of giant Jumanji-sized centipedes.
Oh, not Thank that. You. Oh, I think I would have been way more fine with sticking my hand in the centipede box than that hole in the wall with like poopé all over it. That shit would have been.
No, I can handle some mud.
Oh, you would have done the poopé hole. Okay, you can do the poopé hole, and I'll do the centipedes. I think that would be fine.
But that hole also did have some giant fucking maggots in it, and I don't know if they were real or if they were fake.
I could have brushed the maggots out for you though, and then you could have gone deep in there.
but who knows what was deep in?
Okay, so that's why I don't want to go in that one. But if you're saying you'll do that one, I think we could have gotten through this together.
Okay. It just reminds me too much of that Temple of Doom scene where the screaming lady has to stick her hand in the thing to push, and it's full of bugs. Yeah, no, thank you. Gross.
I'm more worried about like like guillotines being in the hole or something. You know, like am I losing my arm?
Okay.
Why am I stick it in here?
Well, that's why you go in with the handle of the sledgehammer first, see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I guess I could wrap my arm in somebody's spare coat and then go in and find the button. That would be how I could handle that hole.
They actually did that. They stuck like the handle of the sledgehammer in, but it didn't turn the light on.
Yeah. But they did that after they found out about the light.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody just straight up put their hand. I mean, to a certain extent, you're on a TV show. You know you're not going to lose a limb.
Yeah. You know, like if the progress of the group relied on me being the bravest person to stick my hole in the wall, like, you know, I'd probably do it.
Okay.
I think I would do it. Mm-hmm. But I'm
not afraid of failure.
If we knew, what if it was just like me and you, and we knew there were like 2 things? It was like, okay, somebody's gonna have to put their go near this creepy centipede thing, and somebody's gonna have to stick their hole in the wall, this hand in the hole in the wall. Like, would you have done the hole in the wall if I agreed to do it? We could have moved on. Okay.
Yeah.
But in the moment when there's only one thing to do, would I have had to have done it? Because
maybe
you would have been like, nah, I'm not doing that. And I'd be like, okay, the only way to progress is if I do that.
So you're saying that if I just keep going, you would do it. Okay, probably, yeah. See, now I don't have to do shit. This is fine.
Okay.
You gave you gave yourself away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I would have been like, I really don't want to do this, but like if everybody else is not going to do it, then I guess I'll do it. It's kind of how
you might have still been able to get me to put my hand in the hole as long once you got the bugs out of the way.
Yeah.
I probably could have done it.
Okay. All right. Where are we? We're in Mr. Guilty's office. Yeah, it's like another like it feels like some sort of old person's man cave, but it's like set up as an office.
Yes,
With
yes.
like couches and a big desk. And yeah, it's got the
Hmm.
creepy crawlies and a jar on the desk. It's got a monitor that can see the table with the red room, one room over.
Yeah, where they just came from, right? Hmm.
It has like a button next to another door on the other side of this office. And they do push this button, but nothing happens.
Right.
They're like discuss like, should we push this button? Should we put this button? And they're like, okay, well, let's push the button, and they do it, and then nothing happens. they get they get ready to be scared again, and then nothing happens. But then they realize there's like a puzzle, some sort of like puzzle looking thing on the backside of like a picture, also next to the button.
Right.
And once they discover this, I believe it triggered production to like send in the cultists up the stairs into the red table room, right?
Yes, so we're back to hiding in closets again.
Yeah. Except this time, I think they were supposed to hide in the closets. Like there was enough space for them to all hide in the closets.
Hmm.
I still think they did the unintended thing back in the first instance of the cultists
Okay. Yeah,
coming
yeah.
to them. Yeah. So yeah, they can see from the monitor. I would have had, as soon as that monitor was there, I'd have been like, we need one person eyes on this monitor all
The whole
time.
time. Yep.
This monitor is here for us to see them coming. We need to do
Yes.
it. And then it would have been like, if they come, where are we hiding? Like I would have, like this would be like the front of my mind. Like I do not want
Yes.
to be seen or even close to being caught by these actors that I know they're actors, but what if they're not actors? You know, like what if they're not? What if this is all
Yeah.
real and
Hmm.
it's a setup? You know,
What if I have to hit somebody with a sledgehammer? Like,
Yeah.
not a good day. Yep.
Yes, they hide in the closets. They get to watch. I think they realize they hide in the closets, but then they realize like, oh, we need somebody to be watching this monitor. So they kind of like get out and watch the monitor because they basically are having a meeting in that red table room.
Yes.
So they get to watch that. What do we find out in that by watching that meeting?
They are worried about the intruders and that the final ritual is happening like in an hour or soon or something.
Yeah.
It's almost ritual time.
And there's one of them in red robes. This is the first time we're seeing.
Oh, right.
The red
Yes.
robes guy. And he's also like, take care of the journalist. I don't know what that means. Maybe the journalist was unsavable because the journalist has also just been murdered directly after this.
Or did he mean take the dog whose soul is the journalist out for a walk because he's a dog and he hasn't gone outside today?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
Maybe. Yeah, was there like an unseen scene where they like find a dead dog and then there's like a ghost of the journalist who like talks?
I just meant take the dog out for a walk so it could poo, not like take the dog outside and shoot it. Jeez.
Well, I mean, that's what they're probably talking about. No, but I'm saying like if we didn't get to that mechanic yet, but like if they ever found like a dead dog somewhere, like the force ghost of the journalist would have been able to like talk to them next, but like coming out of the dead dog apparently. Right?
I think because there's like some sort of weird symbol on a bag, which
what
might
is this?
be the reason there's
We're
a
about
ghost.
To find out.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can dig into ghost details in a minute.
I'm really confused about this bag. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so they have this meeting. We find out some more information. They get to watch. But then they see like, oh, the red robe guy's coming into the office. Presumably his own office. Also, we can see all the cultists' face in this, and it's like none of them are Mr. Guilty, the old man. But the red leader guy seems to be the leader, and he's going into Mr. Guilty's office.
So back into closets.
Yeah, so now they actually hide. And then they get to see like he comes in and then he like opens the picture on the wall and he does the puzzle. And there was another big solve that John did that we can get into in a second. But he does he does like the puzzle in the thing, but they can't see what he's doing to do the puzzle, right? They purposefully like had the picture frame open in a way where they couldn't see it. And then he like takes a piece out of his pocket and like puts it into the puzzle and then presses the button and then the door opens to wherever this other door goes. And then he just says like some creepy stuff in another language and we can't even see who he's talking to.
Right.
And then he just comes out of the door and there were also like guards in the room. I guess that the celebs didn't like just jump him and murder him. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what the guard. Yeah, there was like extra cultist leader guards. to make
Well,
sure
it's
that.
it's big ritual day. There's been intruders that have been
I
maybe
guess so. There
talked
have been
about.
intruders, yeah.
Needs a little extra
I just
security.
it's like this is our chance. We could kill him. This is the solution.
I brought the sledgehammer,
I
guys.
have the
It's fine.
yeah, I have the sledgehammer. We won. Yeah, and then he comes out and he like closes, resets the puzzle, closes the door, and then. But this is the weird part. He like he has this like sequence that he does before he like leaves the office, and he like the first step is open the jar of creepy crawlies.
Gross.
And he drops into this jar a red starburst. And I was like, okay, I guess that's what the creepy crawlies eat. Okay, cool. Because then, right after that, he goes over to his goldfish that he also has on his desk. Yes. And he sprinkles a little goldfish food in for the goldfish. So I was like, okay, I guess these creepy crawlies eat red starbursts.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Okay, cool. And I thought, I don't like. It probably would have taken me a minute to be like, oh, maybe we have to go into this creepy crawly thing and get that red starburst.
There is no part of my brain that would have ever been like, the answer is inside the gross centipede.
I think I would have figured it out once they tried to do the puzzle and like realized a piece was missing. And then it was like, oh, that red starburst looks like it fits perfectly right into this puzzle. But like they immediately are like, let's get that red starburst, and then it's actually like a little like square piece of wood that's just red for some reason.
Yeah.
I think just so they could see it better or something. But I mean, they get it out no problem, Sarah. Like I would have gotten it with my hands, I think, but the girl like used pencils as chopsticks to get it out, which seemed easy enough.
I would have.
They weren't like they weren't
different
moving, like,
universe at the time. No, does not
really?
Matter.
Wow, they weren't like super fast. So I feel like you could just like quick, just be like, oh, that's
no,
mine.
that's because they were in a box. If they got out of the box, they'd be moving like.
They opened the box
speeds.
and they were they didn't like try to escape, really, right? I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Like
my soul would have ejected from my body.
I'm not a big fan of bugs either. I just think I could have handled it. Okay, well, I got you. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that I have you to rely on.
Okay. All right. All right, so they immediately are like, we need this red starburst, and they get it, and then they're like, okay, now let's solve this puzzle. John, we didn't mention the previous room. He actually there was a bunch of like random lines throughout the pages of the journalist's notebook, and this was probably the most epic solve of the of the game. Maybe it's something you couldn't get unless you were in person, because like it looked like a bunch of the pages had random lines on them, but also there were a bunch of pages that were like had previously been folded in a certain way.
Yeah.
And he figured out like, oh, if I refold all these pages and like overlap them, then you get to see like the full picture of these random lines.
Yeah.
And then the random lines, it looked like the outline, like a rough outline of like a bull's head with horns.
Yeah.
And then once you look at the puzzle that's behind this thing, it's like, oh, like you can configure these in a way that it kind of looks like that. Except you need the red starburst to like complete this like square at the top of the Red Bull.
Right.
Okay. Not the Red Bull, the bull with the horns. Red starburst bull. Yeah. We get this.
Yes.
Yeah. So they get in the door, right?
Yes.
They made it into whatever this super secret chamber is.
It is. Where you keep your old dead bodies, I guess. It's his closet. It's a closet for former bodies, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna find out that there's a body. This Mr. Guilty like is the guy in the red robes, even though it's a younger guy. We never find out the identity of this, or we get to talk to him. I don't know who he is.
I think it was just some guy in the cult that they went, okay, your body's good enough.
Yeah, but he's still keeping his body in like a cryo chamber next to his office. I guess. Is what this kind of looks like.
He's just like standing upright, but very clearly like dead in this.
But he's dead, right?
Yeah,
like,
glass chamber.
His body is supposed to be dead, but it's also being like preserved. Is what I kind of assumed.
Yeah, it's what it looks like. And then there's this like rope across the front of it, and in the middle is this bag with some sort of symbol on it. Just like hanging off the rope. Like, maybe it's the key of magic that's keeping his body there or something. I don't know.
Oh, okay. The door also closed behind them like immediately as they came into this room, and I feel like they did not panic enough when that happened, because I was like, what do you mean we're stuck in this room?
Yeah. What do you mean we're stuck in the dead body room? No, thank you.
Like, they didn't panic, but then, like, I guess when they eventually left this room, it was just like, oh, there's a button on the inside, right? It was like no big deal. Like, I would have been like, oh no, we've been discovered.
The moment the door closes, I need to find the button so I know we can leave again. Yeah.
Yeah, like, do I hide in this cryo tube with this dead body? Like, what are we supposed to do next? Yeah, I never understood the purpose of this bag.
Well, it seems like the moment John removes the bag, then there's a ghost. So
was like maybe the ghost tied to the body because it was like wrapped up, and they like released it, but then they got to talk to it like one time before it left. Like, I'm kind of confused about what the lore is of this Force ghost.
I think this is just a hole we're never gonna tidy up, you know?
Because they never opened the bag, right? Like, what was in the bag?
Probably some like witch ingredients or whatever.
That's all you think it was? You think it was just ingredients? Okay. Because at one point,
it's somebody, like a little spell poultice or something, you know?
One of them theorized that, like, oh, like, maybe you can put, like, somebody's soul into, like, an object. And maybe, like, I was like, oh, maybe the object of the guy's soul is in the bag. And, like, maybe it was, but they didn't bother. Like, maybe there was a way to save the journalist's life and, like, get him back if you, like, somehow got him and did the ritual with that bag, like the object that was in that bag. Like, I don't know if there was like a better ending that was possible, but since they didn't really do it, they didn't bother to like show us what was in the bag,
right? Yeah,
I don't know, it was like a little, I felt like something was missing here, but I guess it wasn't important to like the main mission. What if there was more to the missions, but they didn't do it, so then they didn't like mention it? They like edited out like you should also save any other potential victims of this cult that you see along the way. And they were like, nah, nothing.
Yeah, nobody's got time for that.
Yeah,
that man's a dog. It's too late.
We heard them say that they took care of it. There's nothing we can do.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, they talk to the Force ghost of the. Oh, this isn't even the journalist, actually. I'm actually getting confused.
Yeah, this is
the whatever the guy that Mr. Guilty put his body into.
Or
his soul into his body. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
And he just like kind of warns them of what is happening. I don't know who this guy is and why he knows so much stuff.
I just assume he was probably like a lower level member of the cult, and the cult leader went, I wouldn't mind living in that body.
Yeah, the cult leader like thought he was like the sexiest guy in the cult.
Yeah, he's like, he was like, I would be happy if I woke up in that body. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they did a little swapsies, and now he's bitter about it, so he's gonna spill all their secrets, you know?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he tells them that the ritual will open the gates of hell and bring Moloch into this world, which will basically end the world. But the ritual can't be completed by anyone other than the leader's soul. So
the messenger's soul. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
They also got when the Force Ghost appeared, that was like the end of episode 2. So that was like the cliffhanger.
Oh yeah. It was slightly startled by Ghost. End of episode. So
you think they had some sort of like holographic effect that the celebs are like actually watching like this recording of this this Force
probably
Ghost?
Maybe.
It seems like everything else was so immersive that it probably was that, but
yeah, that's why the body was in the weird tube, so that way they could project the ghost onto the tube.
It was projected onto the tube. Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, crazy. Okay. Yeah. So they need, for whatever reason, the messenger's soul is the chosen soul, and it needs to be part of the witch ritual. So they find out, like,
yes,
they interpret that as, okay, if we can stop the messenger, then this whole thing can't happen. Whatever this final ritual is.
But then I think they also, just as a group, decide, well, our priority is to save the women. And if we save the women, they can't be sacrificed. So we should just do that.
That actually, yeah, but then that, if they just
so then it's like, the women, they'll like just find more women. Like, there's a lot of people who were born on that day, I'm sure.
Yeah, but like, are the women even the key to the, like, opening the gates of hell? Like, Or is that just like a extra thing that they were like, wouldn't it be nice if Mr. Malek had some tasty women
Well,
to like
I mean,
have
at
when he
this
got here?
point, I think I think the group is under the impression that they are necessary, but when we see the ritual happening later, yeah, I think it is just here's a tasty snack because they don't ever really get close to being sacrificed, and we do see the portal start to open.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there were like multiple solutions at the end. Like if they just come up with a way, maybe there was no way to like sneak in and get the women out without doing what they did.
Yeah, because
But
they
like
like when they get
would
to the women, a very convenient thing happens that pushes them towards what they need to do for the end, right? Like if they had just I think that was production stepping in and being like, "No, you have to do the rest of
you have to
it."
do this ritual. Like you have to come up with like
Yeah.
a way to use one of these magical spells to beat it. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Like there are rooms you haven't been in yet. You have to go back.
Oh, did they? Was wait, there was like unexplored rooms by the time they got to like the ritual? Oh no, we'll get
No,
to
by
it.
the
We'll
time
get
they
to it.
got to the women, they hadn't
Oh,
found like the ritual room and all the spells and stuff yet.
oh, okay. Do you think they could have found that stuff before getting caught or whatever? I don't know. See, I'm so curious. What were the permutations of
It was like
possibilities?
on the floor plan, right? So I think they
Yeah,
probably could have snuck into it.
because that's what it was, right? It was like that door that the first cultist actor came through. They never chose to go through that door, but I feel like they could have and gotten to some other parts earlier. I don't know. I'm
I
really
think also just
curious
like
what
at
was
the part
possible.
where they I think come down from this office, they're just out into the like floor of the factory, and from there they could have gone into a number of rooms, one of which is the ritual room, I think.
Yeah, the ritual room, or yeah, or the food storage room, or yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I'm curious, like if them getting captured like had to happen. It created like good content, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
We'll
think
get
they
there. Okay.
probably planned to capture them at some point, but it was definitely like at least like they're like, okay, if at any point they seem to be escaping with the women and not doing the rest, we capture them. That's when it happened.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. All right, they've gotten the Force Ghost message. All right.
Yes.
There's also another door that's leading out of Mr. Guilty's office, and
Yes.
that finally leads them to the open part of the factory, which they have not really
Right.
explored yet.
And they can just see like all the cultists just standing in a big group facing away from them conveniently.
Yeah, yeah,
Just getting ready, just standing there waiting for the ritual.
yeah. And they need to. They somehow know. They know that for some reason. Oh, I think they heard them in the cultist meeting, like talking about the incinerator room is where
Yeah, and
the
that's where the
women are.
women are, right? Yeah, so
And
they're
then
trying to make their way there.
that must have been on the floor plan, the incinerator room.
Yeah, yeah.
So they figure out like, oh, they have to go down the stairs and like from the office or whatever and go to it's like below them basically. But they have to go through the factory to get there. And they just do like really bad secret agent sneaking. Right?
I love
So
it. I
like
think it's when like Eugen like is going, she's got her arms out wide, like doing spirit fingers, just like, oh, trying to like sneak, but it's just like you are wearing white and making yourself look big. This is
and
not a
covered in
bear. You
poop.
have to sneak. It
Yeah.
was very silly.
Yeah. But whatever. They're all facing the other way, right? It's their
Yeah,
job
yeah.
as
So it's
actors to
fine.
face the other way. They're good. They're fine.
Yep.
They get there, they use the master key to open it. No problem. They're in the incinerator room. Yeah, there's a bunch of like
It's
candles
just
and
like piles of
skeletons and
bones.
yeah,
Yep.
piles of yeah. But the three girls are there. And they find them. They identify them.
And but they all seem to be asleep or drugged and locked up.
Yeah,
And
they're
it
kind
seems
of
like before they even really get to do anything, the cultists just basically rush in, right? Like
yeah, like
it's
what?
basically as soon as they get there.
But like, what I wonder is like, was there a solution? Like they had the master keys, right? Like I guess, like was there an actual master key? I guess there would have had to been for it to make sense, really, that like unlocked the women from the tables. And I guess they were
Oh,
about to do
yeah.
that, and then the production was like, "Nah, you didn't do enough of the stuff, so we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on to like this backup plan where you actually have to
Like I
like,
think if they had listened to the Force Ghost and just been like, "Oh, we have to swap his soul back. Let's go figure out where that ritual room is and see if we can figure it out there." I don't think they would have gotten caught.
was the ritual room on the floor plan? I guess it probably was.
I think so. Maybe it
Okay.
wasn't labeled ritual room, but you know,
Yeah.
there are like other rooms they could have looked in.
So do you think there's like a perfect run here where they never get captured? Because basically what happens is like, yeah, they're just like all the cultists were facing the other way, and they sneaked terribly into this incinerator room, and then as they're like deciding what to do with the women, like before they can even unlock them, it's like all the cultists just bum rush the room, and then are like all of a sudden it's like, we found them.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they had not been looking around before, and it's not like one of them just stumbled in doing their job and was like, oh no, they're here. It's they all rushed in at once going, ha, we got you.
Yeah. Like theoretically maybe somebody was like in the CCTV room.
In the security room, yeah, that's true.
Which
and
was looking at
radioed
them,
like,
but
hey.
like they go back and like eventually they have to go back through all the rooms, and like they don't run into any actors in all those rooms that they did previously.
And the secret door is still open, so like,
and nobody closed the secret door. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it does feel like maybe there was a perfect run here where like you put together like, oh no, like it's way more important that we stop Mr. Guilty from doing the ritual at all than it is to like saving the girls is not a long-term solution to this
right
like global catastrophe that could be happening. So like maybe you if they had prioritized just doing the ritual first, and
I don't think they would have been
the women second, they would have never been caught, maybe. But it would have been a lot less exciting, I feel like, if the TV show, if they did that way, right?
Yeah.
So this
I mean, them getting caught was good content. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this is kind of like as a back, if this actually was like a backup plan in case like the celebs kind of don't follow the story as intended. Like they had some pretty cool stuff in here. That's just like if it was actually a backup plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got captured, and then the actors
like,
are like, take them to the food storage. Like Mr. Guilty is like, lock him up in the food storage. But then at the last second, he's like, no, you two, you're going to the wagon. And like
I real thought he was gonna pick the two younger women to be like, yes, add them to the sacrifices, but that's not who he picks.
Yeah, what if they casted like two younger celebs that had the exact same birthday as like as the women that were being sacrificed?
An incredibly lucky
Even if just
coincidence.
If they had casted one young woman that had the same birthday, they could have just made the birthday of all the women that girl's birthday, and then that could have.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't even bother going with the full 666 number, so you know it could have been any birthday.
But like, yeah, if the young woman on the cast had the same birthday as all the sacrifices, I think that would have been pretty like maybe a little bit more intense for her. Yeah. So they chose Youngjin and Dohun to go to the wagon, which ends up being like they get tied up with the three women who are sacrifices, and they're essentially like put into this carriage, which is going to be surrounded by logs. Like it's like
they're building a pyre to set on fire at some point.
It's like they're like at the center of a future bonfire is how it's set up. And then the other four are taken to the food storage. Now, did production like pick Youngjin and Dohun because they like knew which celebs had which items, and they, you know what I mean? Like, if does it kind of get broken if they like send the wrong celeb to the wagon?
Maybe. Wait, what do they have at this point that they were gonna need?
So like they're gonna end up needing to be able to like cipher. They're gonna have to do some more ciphering, which means they probably needed like the notebook, maybe, or something. So whoever had the notebook, I feel like if they were in the wagon, it would have been harder. I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe
well, not. This is why they gave them the radios too. So if it was something like the cipher, they could have dealt with that.
Also, I guess whoever had the poster. Wherever the poster was, I guess they had to. They could go back to that room with the poster, and I think they had like already translated. I don't know. I was wondering, like, it just felt kind of were Youngjin and Dohun like just the first two people in the line. Actually, I don't know.
I don't know
how they decided it was them that had to be put in the wagon. I'm not sure. So okay, they're in the wagon, and the other ones are in the food storage.
Oh, this is when it gets spicy. They're all zip tied, right? And Unji is like trying a method to get out of zip ties she saw on YouTube. And it mostly just looks like she's punching herself in the stomach over and over again,
like,
and it's not working.
She's giving herself the Heimlich maneuver or something.
Yeah, it's kind of what it
but
is.
I guess she saw something on like Instagram or TikTok where like somebody did that and then the zip ties just popped off.
Yeah, it did
I don't
not
know if
work
they were
for
like
her.
a strong person or if it was just bullshit, but it did not look like it was even close to doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then eventually in the food storage area, they find, what was this thing they found? Was it I thought it was like a potato peeler at first, but I guess it's like a nutcracker.
Yeah, it looked like they were opening like chestnuts with it. Is
this intended? I guess it was intended.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it wasn't like, oh, we found a pair of scissors and we can cut the zip tie.
Yeah.
It was like a little not good at cutting the zip tie
in
a way that it was like,
it's more authentic then. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, I guess. Like it worked, but it wasn't so like grab it, snip it, and we're good. It's like, okay, wait, you actually had to kind of like
position it just right. Yeah,
I was like, I guess it had to have been intended. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So they at least freed their hands, but I think the door is locked, even though it like kind of looks open. Like it must be like chained together or something. There's only 2 hours remaining now. Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, they really gotta get moving.
So this is where they finally need the walkie-talkies. I guess they just have to get captured, right? There's so many little things that like it did say the walkie-talkies like were only needed in case of emergency. So maybe there was like a path where they never needed the walkie-talkies, or they could have just been using them more often when they were like in different rooms and didn't want to.
Yeah, I think mostly they just like were clumped together for the most part, so it wasn't really necessary.
They stayed together, but they like didn't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
So maybe they could have been utilizing the walkie-talkies more, but yeah. Yeah, so they're using the walkie-talkies to communicate to the wagon. And I feel like they were kind of stumped in this food storage room. Like, okay, we figure out how to get our hands free, but what the hell what should we do? This like solution is actually like, it's so obvious when you see it, but like in the moment, I feel like it would have taken me a very long time to realize like, oh, this is actually what we're supposed to do. Like, right? Like,
yeah, I definitely thought like there were some like boarded over like windows or something, and I was like, oh, we're going through those.
Yeah,
but there was a vent instead that they had to go through. And then like when you like realize the vent, you also see like the boxes and crates of food are stacked in such a way where they're convenient stairs up to the vent too. So
yeah,
it's not noticeable immediately. Yeah.
It's one of those like puzzle solutions where like, okay, if this was for some reason to me like the way my brain would have like been in this situation, or at least I think it would have been, is like if this was real life and I was in like, oh, how do I escape from this room? Like I have to escape from this room. This is real. I would have been like, oh yeah, ventilation shaft, I can do that. But in this like production made for like the celebrity situation, for some reason it didn't occur to me that like, oh, climb on a bunch of stuff and go through this ventilation shaft that's like at the top shelf of this storage room would be like an actual thing that production wants them to do. Like for some reason that was just kind of wild to me. They're like, okay, no, like we're actually climbing on this stuff in order to
like you're looking for an escape room button or something that's gonna open the door instead of
so it was like and it was like kind of hidden behind like a bunch of bags of food too. It wasn't like it wasn't immediately obvious in the room, I felt like. So when it actually ended up being the solution, I was like, wow, that's actually like really awesome. That if I had set that up like as like an escape room maker, I would be like, I would have been like worried that like, oh, maybe this is like two people, like this is so little. It's crazy enough that people just might not even think about doing it.
Yeah,
like that's kind of how I would have been worried that it's like a little too much. But that's what it is, and they eventually figure it out. I wonder. I'm curious how long they were in the storage room for, and how long.
Probably a little bit of time.
And like the two guys in the wagon, like how long were they sitting in that wagon, like listening to these people chant over and over? And over. Yeah.
The timing of the end of this is suspect, to say the least.
Yeah, like it almost felt to me like if they wanted to keep them immersed in it, like these 100 cultists that were surrounding that were like in front of this wagon that they were in, like would have had to chant this phrase, like this weird phrase, like over and over again for like at least 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
it's real bad.
It's actually kind of nuts. Like I almost think they did it. I just believe they did it for some reason, but yeah, wild. Yeah, so they find a vent, and the vent leads to the ritual room. So they finally got to the ritual room. And again, it's through the vent. So yeah, I guess this whole thing had to have been part of the process. I'm still curious about all the different paths that were possible, but
I mean, the ritual room also had a door to it.
The ritual room had a door, but like the fact that you would set, it just feels like all this stuff is so cool that if it was like only a backup plan, it's like it feels like a little bit of oh, we missed out on all this extra content that could have been in the TV show. You know, like making.
Yeah, but I figure for this kind of thing, you gotta make plans on top of plans on top of plans to make sure it like goes smooth.
Yeah, maybe there was other stuff we didn't get to see that would have been cool. I don't know. Okay, they found the ritual room finally, and then the ritual room just has like a wall of spells, right? Like it wasn't just like, oh, here's the spell to swap bodies, and this is like the one spell that this cult knows. It's like, no, there's like a water bending scroll, and like
there's like get superpower spells. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous.
Like it makes you like the smartest person on the planet or something. I don't know. There's a lot of like really cool spells that like maybe, I don't know, like could they have gone crazy and production had like things that would have happened if they tried these like really weird spells?
Yeah, when they talked about the water one, I'm like, oh well, we're supposed to douse the wagon in water when they try to set them on fire. Okay, water spell. Let's go.
Or no, like if Malek makes it through the through the gate, then you can somehow like blast him with water.
Oh yeah. The like ruler of hell, just a bit get him wet, and then he's got to go back home to dry off. One weakness. It's over. Yeah,
he's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Okay.
I don't know why they bothered with all the rest of this. Just get him wet.
Do you think there were instructions on how to perform like all like, I don't even, was it like 10 or 12 spells that were on the wall? Like,
I mean, they had to have, right?
Were there instructions?
You want to make it authentic and immersive? You gotta.
Did they have the ingredients to do all the spells if they wanted to? Like, could this have really gotten crazy? Or like, would they have read like the waterbending spell and been like, there's no way we can do this. We don't have like.
Oh, that might have been true.
We don't have like a goat to sacrifice or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think they definitely wrote out all the spells, but I think it's probably there's some core ingredients missing for the ones that they don't want them to waste time on.
Maybe, yeah.
Or like don't have an effect for. Like if they do the one that makes you super smart, like what's production supposed to do when you finish that spell? Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, right? I don't know. But basically they eventually are just like, because one of the spells is actually like the final summoning
ritual
spell,
the final ritual spell, which is, I guess, like interesting from the point of like, okay, our main objective should be to stop this ritual, and maybe like it gives you a clue as to like, oh, there's like a bunch of ways I can stop this ritual if I know the spell. But the one spell on the wall that they've seen exactly like the ritual for that spell performed is the swap body spell. Mm-hmm. So the ghost said that he needs his soul to do that soul needs to do the summoning. So you take that out of the equation, it's fine. Yeah. So they eventually fairly quickly like are like, okay, we should focus on this spell. This is the one we need to actually do. And then they just kind of put it all together, right? Like it's kind of like the callback to all the rooms and things that they saw. Yeah, they're like, oh, well, they clearly swapped the investigator's body with a dog. Can we swap his soul with some sort of animal? Or this is definitely where it's like, I think they could have swapped with anything, right? Like, there's no way production specifically thought like, oh, they'll swap with like the entire box of centipedes. Like, I think that's also why the goldfish is there. They're like, yeah, the goldfish would have been an option. I think the goldfish was like the proper solution. Like I think they literally went like, oh, that's gonna be a pain in the butt to carry around and like it's gonna splash all over the place. So let's just take this box of giant fucking bugs. Yeah, they also could have just got like one maggot, right? Well, they needed the maggot to do the spell too, so yeah.
they needed to preserve their mannequins. I guess. I
Also,
don't know.
what if they were supposed to get the journalist and like swap him again with
Yeah, or not
with
the journalist, but
the
the
dog,
cult.
like the
Like I
dog within the journalist would swap into Mr. Guilty. Now Mr. Guilty's the dog, but then Mr. Guilty would be the journalist. Maybe we don't want
yeah.
that.
So that's not great.
Okay, that's not
But
great.
if
Yeah.
there had been a dog, like I feel like there was a dog in a room that we never went to or something. You know, like there has to be a path that you also get to save this too.
The goldfish, like the there, I feel like the goldfish is like the intended solution
Yeah, probably.
because why the hell was there a goldfish? I feel like
And like
yeah, I don't think
they just take
entire
this
box.
whole
Yeah.
box of like
They don't get one
his
centipede.
soul like divided up into all the different centipedes,
yeah.
or it's just like just the randomly picked one. It's
Yeah.
unclear.
He's got like 7 centipede Horcrux now. Of this guy.
Gross.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so
All
they
right.
have to run back through all the rooms, get all the things.
Yeah.
They
it's
go
like
back to the corpse of the leader and cut this real man's actual hair, it looks like, because they can use a body or hair in place of whatever.
Yeah, what if they had to lug the whole dead body? Which is some sort of like wax statue, right? Of this guy.
I just thought it was an
thought it was an
extra being very still. I don't
think
know.
it was a real you think the body of Mr. Guilty was an actual actor?
I mean,
Maybe.
it's cheaper.
I
It's,
guess
it's
so.
so much cheaper than like
Yeah, getting a
trying
wax
to make a
statue.
wax dummy of him.
That's true. Okay. I'd be scared if I was that actor though. It's like what if these people decide they need my blood or something?
I think production would
know.
step in before they started drawing blood.
Okay.
But I do hope they put a wig on him, so that's what they cut instead of his actual hair.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like a scavenger hunt. They got to get ingredients from the potion making room or whatever that was.
And they also like need what like Moloch's other name, which is written on the girls in the sacrifice wagon.
Yeah,
so that those guys had something to do.
Yeah. But this part was cool. This is actually kind of crazy, actually. So the guys in the wagon, like, they like spot that there's tattoos on the girls' necks, right? They somehow figure that out. But like the actors of the girls have like positioned their hair in a way where like the tattoos are
kind of covered,
like, visible, but they're like kind of covered enough that you can't actually read them. Or I don't know, maybe
and they're all supposed to be drugged right now, so they can't like be awake and helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, like Youngjin asked them a question or something, and they do like respond in like but they're like out of it, but they do say something.
Yeah.
But
and they're just like all tied up just too far away to be able to do anything.
Do you think production was like do you think they could see the tattoos, but like production was like, no, there's like a thing you're supposed to do before you can see the tattoos, you know, like. Because this part was actually kind of nuts to me.
I think it's just like production told the girls to be like, you know, don't show all your tattoo, you know, keep it covered up, don't move too much.
Okay.
Yeah. Make it hard for these guys to see it, so they have to try to get out of their bonds.
Yeah, because this is probably this might even be more impressive of a solve by Doohun.
Mm-hmm.
Doohun. Like they tied them up in a weird way where like first they zip tied them, and it's the same thing with the girls, right? They zip tied their
hands together,
and then they chained them to the cell of the wagon, the bars.
But the chain just like goes around the zip tie, basically.
Yeah, so it's like a cool like Houdini like escape solution that they have to figure out where like if they grab the chain and then like move one of their hands around the chain, they actually can like they can't release their hands from the zip tie, but they can get the zip tie out of the chains.
But it did seem like they got out of the zip ties after that. Like the zip ties were loose enough without the chain in the way to get their hands out, I guess.
So they had to
maybe.
I feel like they would have been able to get their hands out. Did they get their hands out of the zip ties somehow?
Maybe they didn't. I thought they did. Maybe production just went, okay, you got out of the chains. We'll let you out of the zip ties now. I don't know.
It is kind of crazy though, because like it seemed like in order to progress, like they had to figure out this, like, oh, we at least get our hands freed from the chains. thing.
And they spent a
they're
long time not
this is
knowing what they were doing, I
like
think.
this is what they basically were supposed to do while the entire like they're gathering all the ingredients in the other team is gathering all the ingredients. But like it's kind of crazy because like they're trying to like pop the zip ties off their hands. Like it gets to the point where like they're probably like hurting their wrists to some degree, you know, like because they're so determined to like figure this out. Also, like Dohun was like kind of like he described his like emotions in the moment when they got captured. Like he said, like I was really angry. Like he was like he was angry, like being in this experience and like seeing how they were treating these three women, and then also I think he was just angry that they got caught.
Yeah.
Like he was actually like kind of pissed off for like a good portion of this wagon experience.
Probably also like, why do I have to be stuck in the goddamn wagon?
Yeah.
I would like to be in the other group.
Yeah, but actually, I would actually give him credit for the biggest solve with this hand maneuver. Yeah, it was actually pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, they get it and they're able to communicate. Youngjin just is able to properly communicate the symbols so that they can translate it. And then they perform the ritual. Right.
Oh, but meanwhile, like the cultists are doing their thing, and there's this big,
crazy,
like elaborate screen, I guess,
like
that
this
looks
happened,
like an archway. Yeah.
Like
I think
this is happening live. Like Youngjin and Dohun are like watching this projection or video screen or whatever this is, like in person, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's like
it's
this
like
big
huge...
ass like minotaur looking motherfucker with wings, I guess.
It's
whatever
like
this demon thing looks like.
Walking to this giant door in the middle of the factory.
And like you can see hell behind him.
Yeah, like oh my god. It was actually kind of wild. I think it was actually happening, or they at least got Youngjin to be like, oh my god, look, it's Molek. We can see him. Yeah.
And so they're like cutting back and forth between the gang doing their ritual and the cult doing their ritual, and like just in time they finish the soul swapping, and Mr. Guilty just drops over. And unfortunately he does not act like a centipede. I don't know. He doesn't like crawl around. He just like lays there.
The centipedes weren't doing a lot. I mean, like he just kind of fell.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
think it would have made a lot more perfect sense if he was a goldfish.
He was a goldfish, yeah.
Yeah. So he just collapses, and then once he collapses, that gate closes. Molek just missed his chance to get through the gate. He was right there.
And then the cultists rush to Mr. Guilty, so they're not paying attention to the wagon, and everybody's able to come in and help them escape, and they just run away back to their elevator of teleportation.
Yeah. Did we get a time check on like how much time they had left? I don't think we did.
I don't think we did.
We knew at some point that they got to like 1 hour remaining, and we didn't see like I thought for sure
they got in or not.
Yeah, I thought for sure they were going to give us like, oh my god, they made it with like 10 seconds left. Like I thought that's what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like they do that we talked about how they do that on the traders with like every challenge.
Everything go on.
Yeah. I thought they were going to do that, but they actually didn't. So I don't know how real the time was in this.
Yeah.
This whole escape room. Wow. Yeah, they get out with the women. No other victims saved.
Nope. And at some point they show the cultists like chasing them, but I don't think they're ever like in the same room,
just,
it's
that's
just
like
production. That's post. Yeah.
And then they open the door to where like the teleporter was.
And it's just a brick wall.
This is what's crazy though, like there was a door there. Right?
Yeah, the door should go to something.
You would think the door to go to something. He opens the door, there's just like a brick wall behind the door. But like, why would there be a door in this room?
Yeah.
Unless like somehow the teleporter door got left behind, and that door like never existed there, but prior to them teleporting there. I don't know.
The teleporter must expend bricks in order to do its teleportation, and so it leaves behind brick walls wherever.
So they can just grab the sledgehammer and bust through the brick wall that the teleporter spawned to get back into whatever room was there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just a closet.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
That's why the actors needed the sledgehammer.
Right.
The celebs never needed them, but the cultists needed it for after the whole experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
To renovate,
Okay. And then that's the end of the episode.
That's it.
We got no like wow, wasn't that crazy? Like can we just
No,
like
yeah.
can we just like take a minute and think about like how crazy that shit was? Like nothing. It was just like, nope, that's the end of the episode.
No shot of them like coming out of the teleporter back where they belong. Just nothing. Yep.
Yeah. Also, Mr. Guilty's like soul when he was like doing the ritual, he was like holding a jar of the powdered bones of 100 sinners. So I think they were like incinerating people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
In the incinerator to get to their bones or something.
Yep. That's why he had previously been kidnapping people or whatever. He's been working on his bone count for a long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These were the rules for summoning Molech. It was like they needed specifically 100 followers, which they had, and then they needed a jar with powdered bones of 100 sinners.
Yep.
And then they needed 3 women born on the day of evil culminated. So yeah, it kind of makes it seem like they do need the women. But yeah, I guess like they can just get more women.
Yeah.
They're not the only women born on that
like
day, right?
we saw Molech almost through this portal and nobody like sacrificed.
That's what I don't. So yeah, that's what I don't get. Like when was the
I do think it is just a welcome tasty treat for him once he gets.
But it was like in the details of the Molech summoning spell.
Well, if you were some sort of evil god or demon or whatever, and you were making a recipe for people to, summon you, would you not be like, also bring snacks,
Yeah, but they must also
I'm gonna be hungry.
I think they specifically had to be women, too.
It's his specific,
maybe Molech had
taste.
An issue.
That's
maybe
what he likes.
Did Molech have the issue of like, oh, I don't want to eat like 18-year-olds? Like that's the...
Oh, maybe, yeah. He's just like, I want
even in
20-year-olds, 3 of them.
Even for
that's it.
The Lord of Hell. That's taking it too far. 18-year-old sacrifices, that's not cool.
No.
Okay.
20-year-old, that's the vintage right there.
Okay.
Very specific about his snacks.
What was Molech's other name?
I don't know. It's whatever was written on those girls. I don't think they translated
it. They didn't have to. Yeah, they didn't have to translate it. They just
had to write it on a paper.
Was that intended? Like they wrote the name of. They wrote Molech's other name in the Molech language or whatever it was, but they never translated it to English characters. I wonder what it was. If they did translate it. Okay.
I'm sure if we went back and paused, we could
maybe figure
this out ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. There's it felt like there were like little details that they definitely didn't do everything the way production intended them to do it, but I think they still basically did everything production planned in some way, shape, or form. I don't know.
I guess if they were supposed to save the journalist, we would have run into a dog at some point, right? Like,
yeah,
right.
Or at least the dead body of a dog, right?
Or something. Yeah.
Once their body dies, is there a way? Like, was there a way to like put the unknown guy's name back in his body? The Force Ghost guy?
Well, like I forget exactly, but the spell does reference like what happens if the body dies after.
Yeah, you become do the swap. You're like attached to the dead body, so you like ghost is there. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If they found a dead dog, they could talk to the journalist. But
yeah. But it feels like if he's still like attached to that body, you could probably swapsies or something,
Oh yeah, I guess it's possible. Okay, well that shit was crazy. I just admire this from a production standpoint. Like it's just,
absolutely. Yeah, they put the work in.
And they did enough to like kind of prove to me that they did make this like as immersive as possible for the celebs. Yeah. I still think for sure like production has to be like, nah, don't do that. If they're trying to do something like crazy that would break the story, or like at least encourage them to like, like don't like you're on the right track. Like you just keep going, like kind of stuff. But but it seemed like there were other things they could have done that they didn't do. So I do think production had some level of like, all right, there's a couple different paths they can take here that we're fine with, and we have ways of dealing with it. I do feel like if they didn't get captured in the incinerator room, like at some point they would have been captured.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it would have always been in the incinerator room, but I almost feel like they could have I think if they ever made it to the ritual room, they would have been captured in the ritual room. And then they
Okay.
would have had to like find the vent to get back to the ritual room.
Okay. I guess they did need to do the ritual. They did need the name of. They did need his other name, which was on the girls.
But they got
So
to the
you would
incinerator
want.
room. They got to the incinerator
Yeah.
room, so they could have gotten, if like they never got captured, everything was available in like the back of the factory where they weren't looking. Right? They could have just,
Except that they were planning on just taking the girls and leaving.
but they could have like seen what was on their necks at the, yeah, I guess you're right. They could have had, they would have to like sneak out to the wagon, be like, oh crap, they're already in the wagon. we gotta go sneak to the wagon to look at their necks, unless they looked at their necks while they were in the incinerator room. I don't know. Yeah, I think it went about as it was supposed to. Yeah, I think there were a couple points maybe like they could have changed where they got captured, but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I also think this is cool from like a you and I are doing like Star Wars D&D right now, and I'm the GM for this Star Wars thing. And it's very much like the kind of thing that you have to do as like a D&D like a DM or a game master, where you're like, all right, the like, especially in D&D, like shit can go off the rails quick if the if the adventurers decide to, this shit could really go off the rails. So you're like, okay, if this, I want to give some leeway where they can go on different paths, but what's my fail safe? Like, all right, if they start getting too crazy, I'll just have them get captured and like kind of reset the whole situation. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's
at least
cool.
with this show, they have the bounds of reality and the physical space to stop
yeah,
them
exactly. It can get really crazy when you're just in imagination land.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm definitely watching the next mystery.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta see what's up on that submarine.
Yeah. I don't know unless people really want us to. I don't know how fun this is. We basically just recapping exactly what happened on the show. I mean, we always do that, but there was, other than just like talking about like if we were in the situation, I don't know how much we don't
add to the
wow.
Just a fun hang.
I had a lot of fun talking about this actually. Yeah, the next one is something to do with a submarine and they're like aliens or something. I didn't watch any of it. I just saw they went right from we made it into the teleporter and then reviews for next time, and that's what they went into. Any other thoughts on Agents of Mystery?
I'm disappointed there are only 2 mysteries, like
yeah. I mean,
6 episodes, 2 mysteries, that's it. I could watch more of this.
It's so elaborate though. Like the crime scene seasons probably had like, it was like every 2 episodes was a different crime. And maybe they had like 5 different, so it was like 10 episodes, maybe they had 5 crimes for a season.
That's true.
But this is so elaborate.
This is a lot more involved.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like if you had to do like a whole new set of like the Devil's Plan. Like the Devil's Plan did an entire 13 episodes or 10 episodes, wherever it was, with that whole setup. But imagine you had to do that for a 6-hour program. Like they were only used this set for 6 hours.
Yeah, and it's super detailed. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that would be a lot of work and a lot of money. I guess it makes sense if there's only 2.
Yeah, super impressive. All right, we moving on to next time. What are we talking about next time?
What are we talking about?
All right, we talked for a while before we started this podcast. We were like, what do we want to do next? I am in kind of the the summer schedule where my son isn't really going to school, so I have less time during the day.
Makes things
so
tricky.
my ability to like commit to like keeping up with a show that's going on currently is not very good. We're never really that good about it anyway, but like specifically right now until it gets back into the school year in September, I don't feel confident with my ability to stick with if we were to watch like His Man 3 or something.
Right.
I don't like, we're already late to the start of it, and I don't think
there'd be definitely no catching
wouldn't
up,
finish,
and it would be rough.
It would just take us too long, and so I think for the next maybe 2 months or so, or whatever it is, I think we should just kind of like go maybe a little bit back to the old school format of the show, where we just kind of pick pick
Bounce
something we want
around,
to,
yeah.
pick something we want to watch and just talk about the first couple episodes, and yeah, kind of just work on things. Talk about shows that are just like we're doing show recommendations. We're not doing full season recaps. We're just like, hey, check out this show. Or if it's the old format was we were just recommending shows to each other back when like nobody listened to the show. But so Sarah let me choose.
Yes, we'll call it that instead of forcing you to choose.
I looked at stuff from way back when. We have like a list of stuff that we may have talked about on the podcast, of potentially talking about it, potentially watching. And then I looked at like some suggestions from people. I just said this. What sparked the most joy for me to do in our next episode was to get Sarah to watch the live action One Piece TV show on Netflix. Sarah's, if you've listened to
it's a deep
other
cut, but
anime,
yeah.
If you've listened to other, like me making Sarah watch other animes way back in the day on this podcast, she's not a huge anime
be a fan.
She likes to bring up animes that she has decided to watch, which is like
there are two of them recently that I've decided to watch.
Yeah,
and one I only half regret one of them.
Okay. But I got you to watch an anime that you didn't hate before, and this is anime adjacent. It's the live action version, but I still think it's I guess my thing with animes and you is like, okay, you don't like animes, but like there's still some great stories in animes that I want to see. Like, okay, you watch the live action version of this, like I think you're gonna like it. I think it's like would be your vibe. Like One Piece is about pirates. I think you're cool with pirates, right? You're like pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a.
But you don't think that One Piece, like original One Piece, would be my vibe, right? Like,
I don't think you would enjoy the anime. No.
Yeah.
I think as like a world, like the world of One Piece that they build up throughout this super super long anime with like 1,000 episodes or whatever it is. I think you would like the world. That it builds, but like no, you would think like the characters would annoy the hell out of you.
Yeah, I feel like I have walked past my brother watching an episode here or there of One Piece back in the day, and that main character child sounded very annoying.
Yeah. So in the live action version, it's like very toned down compared to the over the topness of anime characters. But it's still like silly and quirky enough that you can like kind of tell like, okay, I can imagine this character as an anime character, and that's why this character is kind of goofy. I believe this came out, let me look it up. I think it came out like a few years ago, right?
I want to say, was it a few years ago? Jeez.
It was.
I feel like we were talking about it back in December or something, but maybe it was December the year before.
Yeah, let's see. I think this was. Oh, it's 2023.
Okay.
So we must have talked about watching. I think we talked about watching this like right before maybe. What's it? Maybe it was before we got into Transit Love 2, maybe. And then we got sucked into that and we never got around to it. So something like that. Maybe. I forget. Yeah. There is supposed to be a One Piece live action season 2, but I don't believe there's a date for that yet.
Okay.
And theoretically, like it's if you can get into it, I think the One Piece live action is popular enough on Netflix that they could really try to do live action for like the entire series of One Piece, which is like
it's like a metric crap ton of like, episodes though, right?
Like the live action, like the season 1 of the live action One Piece is like about season 1 of the anime, which covers like 60 episodes of the anime, in like 10 episodes.
In what, 10 episodes?
Action. Yeah. Like 10 1-hour episodes of live action. Or maybe even 8. Let's see. Yeah, it's only 8 episodes of the live action. So, yeah, there might be, they could probably do like 12 seasons of the One Piece live action to cover the entire series of the anime or something. But there's just a lot out there that they have to work with, and it doesn't follow it like exactly. I've watched deep enough into the anime that the live action covers what I've seen in the anime. I have not watched the entire anime, but
You don't know if it like dips off in quality
Yeah.
where Netflix would no longer be interested in it. Okay.
I assume it only gets better because it's still going. It started. It's like the anime started in
Still?
like 2001. Yeah, no, it's still
It's
going.
still going?
I'm pretty sure.
Has this poor little pirate boy not found his treasure?
Hasn't he found the One Piece yet? I don't know. I haven't watched. I don't know if he's found the One Piece. Is the One Piece even real or is it just a legend? I don't know.
Is that's what he's seeking? The One Piece? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm coming in with no information.
Yeah, you got
except
nothing.
that little boy is stretchy. That's what I know.
Yeah. Oh, the stretchy in the live action is crazy.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I think it's gonna be fun. I hope if people listening haven't checked out the One Piece live action, I hope they give it a chance and check it out. We'll talk about it next time.
Okay, sound good.
Sound good.
Yeah.
All right. We'll probably do like 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 2 episodes.
Okay.
It's like 2 hours of content. That's about right for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, sounds good.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No. I think we did it.
All right. Where can people contact us?
They can email us at keepwatchingpod@gmail.com, tweet at us at keepwatchingpod, Instagram at us at keepwatchingpod, or leave a comment under this video on YouTube also at keepwatchingpod. And if you have a mystery for us to solve, you could leave us a rating or review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Sure.
Ooh, no. If you have any, or any X electric
you got
waves
any
in your
X
area,
waves?
let us know in the
us
comments and on
Mhm.
in your review, and we'll get right on it.
Yeah, that's us.
We'll contact XIN for you. Yeah. Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah. If you watched the show and your birthday was June 6, 2004, would you be like freaky? like what the
I mean,
that'd be freaky.
I would still be confused why they weren't going after people born in 2006, but
Yeah,
whatever.
okay. Yeah. All right. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.
Bye.